again. Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge. This is your watch-along for Manchester United against Real Betis in the Europa League. It's been a long week, hasn't it? I don't know whether you remember our last lineup, but it's redemption arc time. This was the jumper I wore when we got beat 7-0 by Liverpool. And I think, look, winning tonight will not rectify that result. But I'd almost say we need 7 really good wins in a row just to counteract that 7-0 drubbing. But it's the same team for Manchester United. We're sponsored by Surfshark. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Links in the description. Get 3 months free and 83% off with Surfshark, which is a virtual private network. Fantastic little VPN that you can use. But as you can see, that is the same Manchester United lineup that got picked out for Liverpool. And Charlie says, stop moaning about the lineup, you prats. Thanks for using my line, but you're welcome. It's interesting. I've got to say, in a way, as much as I don't agree with that lineup, by the way, in a way, I think it's so Ten Hag to do it. And the reason I think it's clever is because if you drop 2 or 3 players, everyone expects that. And at some point, let's say he drops Luke Shaw, yeah? You know Luke Shaw is going to come back into the team at some point. So it's sort of a slap on the wrist, isn't it? You don't get to play against Betis. Whereas Luke Shaw is his first choice left back. So if he says, right, you're playing against Betis, but if you let me down in that game, it will be the last time you ever let me down. I think it's quite clever to send the same team out again and say, you embarrassed yourself on Sunday. I'm going to give you a chance to put it right. Of course, the counteract to that argument is Gianna says, I agree, let them get it out of their system. And I think it is very clever. I'm not losing my temper or anything like that. I don't really have a massive problem with him sending the same team out. The only problem I think really is, and this is what I would say, lineup stinks as captain. Get your comments in. Let's see what you've got to say. The only thing I would say is that you're not changing De Gea. Wan-Bissaka you could bring in. I think that's one. You're not changing Varane or Martinez for Lindelof or Maguire unless you're stupid. Luke Shaw for Malacia, maybe, but Luke Shaw is better. Casemiro or Fred for McTominay. Sabitza's not fit. You're not going to do that. Again, Anthony, Sancho, potentially. I mean, look, Weghorst should not be starting for me. Forget touching the Anfield sign. I mean, I just don't think he's very good. I think he's very lucky to be starting. I like Weghorst, but he's not Marcus Rashford. He's not Bruno Fernandes. He's not Casemiro. He's not even Fred. He's just playing on fumes, really. He's just not that good, I don't think. And I think in that situation, if I'm Jadon Sancho, I'm probably sat there going, bloody hell, he's picking Weghorst at number 10 and I can do that job better. But apart from Wan-Bissaka and Sancho, I don't really see what you would change anyway. Now, I said in my preview, I'd have played Sancho in that team, moved Bruno to 10 and put Sancho off the left. I'd have done that. We're better with that. You know, there's no doubt in my mind we're a better front four with Weghorst on the bench and Sancho at left wing, in my opinion. IMO. You know, I'm not the manager of Man United, Ten Hag is, and if he wants to pick this team, I'll back him. That's the way it works. But I'm not going to lie and say that Weghorst in a front four instead of Sancho doesn't make any sense to me. I think Anthony's very lucky to start as well. You could say Garnacho deserves to start, but I think on the other hand, it's very clever of the manager to send the same team out because they'll all be revved up, and I think it will probably work. You know, everyone's saying, "Oh, it's a mistake." I think it will probably work because the thing is, if you put Sancho in that team or you put Wan-Bissaka in that team, they don't know what it felt like on Sunday. They didn't experience it. This team, it's a redemption, isn't it? So, look, I think it might be quite clever from Ten Hag. No wonder our squad players look rusty, no game time, says Robert McCormack. A big game needed today so we can take a lead with us to Spain next week. Hey, Harry, it's a massive game. Excuse me. It's a massive game, Harry. Yeah, massive. You know, let's not forget. It's not... I think we can't treat this like it's a game to get the Liverpool result out of our system. At the end of the day, the Liverpool game was embarrassing, but it was 3 points. This is about a home leg in the Europa League tie that if we draw this game, we're probably going to go out in Spain. So, yeah, we've got to turn it around. I agree. Going to my first game next Sunday. Very excited, says Isha. And also, let me have a quick look. Yeah, oh, God, it's just reset itself. Off topic, but I would go for Ferguson this summer and Kane or Osman for him to learn from. Yeah, I'd love to see that happen, James. I really would. I don't know why this is not. There we go. Sorry, there's a few messages. Welcome to the Members Club, Abernaf. Mark, I think we're starting to realise how underrated Eriksen really is. He's the carrick of this team and we've massively missed him. I think that's a great point, FIFA Crazy, I agree. And if Bruno is on the wing again, I'm going to eat my own head, says Nelson. Well, I think Bruno is going to be on the wing. You better get a knife and fork because I think he is going to be on the left wing. Again, I don't agree with it, but I think it's going to happen. The only worry is that what precedent does it set for the rest of the squad that you can play that bad, yet you get to play the next game? Just a worry, that's all, says Salah. Look, haters, critics will say, well, what's different to what Ollie used to do? Ollie never changed Maguire and Lindelof, even if Bailly came in and played well. So what's different here? But as I say, there's an argument for Sancho to start, there's an argument for Garnacho to start, and there's an argument for Wan-Bissaka to start. I don't think you've got an argument if you're Harry Maguire or Scott McTominay or Lindelof or Malacia, who's not even fit anyway. I think that there's not loads of players he could have brought in. I love Ten Hag, but why does he constantly move Bruno out of position for Weghorst? It's driving me mad. It doesn't work and he isn't good enough, says Sean Turner. Look, maybe Weghorst will do something important tonight. Maybe Ten Hag's a little bit stubborn. I will admit, we need to be careful with Weghorst. I like him, but he's very limited. And if we're not careful, we'll end up with a Fellaini situation where a certain percentage of the fan base just don't like him as a player, and some of them see him as a cult hero, and we don't want that. We've not had that under Ten Hag. We've been a team where mainly we've agreed with his 11, but a lot of people want to see Jadon Sancho and Garnacho getting game time, and when they see Bruno on the wing and Weghorst up front, at the end of the day, look, I ain't got a problem with the team he's picked, as I said, but at the end of the day, if I'm being completely honest, Bruno on the left wing and Weghorst at 10. There's two better left wingers than Bruno on the bench, and Bruno is a better number 10 than Weghorst. So I get the logic of why people are a bit frustrated. But, enjoying the United stand since 2017, says Raza. Love seeing how much the community's grown. Keep up the great work, Mark and team. Come on, United, says Raza. Thank you very much. Mark, it's second chances. After the video sessions all week, take time or chance to redeem yourself. But if it fails, this is on the manager, says Anthony. And I love the likes of Martinez and Casemiro, but the amount of games they've been smashed this season is worrying, says Jay. It baffles me that he picked the exact same team, maybe challenging them to correct Sunday's results, says Stev. 100%. That's exactly what he's doing. That's the logic behind it. Whether you agree with it or not, that's, I can respect it because that's exactly what he's doing. We've got to play Bruno at 10, Mark, Rashford on the left. Please, Ten Hag, it's their best position, says Tommy. Well, yeah, you know what? At the end of the day, you're probably right. You're probably exactly right, to be fair, because Rashford's out of position, Bruno's out of position, and Weghorst is out of position. So, yeah, I think you probably are right on that. But we're not the manager. The manager is the manager. His name's Erik Ten Hag, and let's cut him a little bit of slack, is what I would say. Can I just say as well, don't forget that we are sponsored by Surfshark on the show. Links in the video description and the picture. The QR code is next to me, which you can download. If you don't know what Surfshark is, it's a virtual private network. One of the best things about Surfshark is their data protection services, making sure my private messages, photos and other sensitive material is protected. But my personal favourite feature of Surfshark, and I think the thing you'll like the most, is that you can change your location on Netflix or location specific based stream services so you can watch them from anywhere in the world. So for example, if you're in Australia and you want to log on to your UK Netflix, you just put London when you're on Surfshark in Australia and it thinks you're in London. That's how it works. Very, very handy. You can use it across as many devices as you like, including your phone or anything at the same time. And it's also available on every device you can think of: Android, iOS, Linux, Amazon Fire TV. You get the picture. It's even got a little feature, an alert feature that will notify you when your personal information has been leaked online. But most importantly of all, because Surfshark are super nice, they're giving United Stand viewers 83% off and 3 months free when you use the code United Stand. That's right, they're giving you not 1, not 2, but 3 months free. Link is in the video description as always. Big shout out to Surfshark, and you can scan the QR code when it goes around there as well. Lots of people talking about the team news. Bruno out of position again, says Zag. He's not very happy. How's Zig? And I get the scepticism after Sunday, but this team won as a trophy in a lot of games since December. I trust Ten Hag, says Joshua. Hi Mark, I'm 4 weeks sober today and I love watching the streams and open up when you feel down. It's okay to talk from Cardiff, and it's Nathaniel. Love that. Thank you, Nathaniel. Would love to get Ferguson in the summer. He can start up front for me next season. Much luck from Cark, says Colin. Thank you very much. Just a shame that Sancho's been shifted out just as he was starting to look better. Anthony needs benching, or the Burnley loan he who starts every game. Look, I think that Is it true you were talking to Ferguson? Says, I don't know where this rumour's coming from. I don't know. Oh, yeah, back of the net. I've just realised I've got a tissue in my pocket. My nose is running a little bit. Oh, I love it when I've got a tissue in my pocket. That's a lifesaver. One thing I did want to just quickly talk about, and that is that I really do agree that that there is a conversation. Look, at the end of the day, I'm pro Ten Hag, and I want to back these players, but it would be a very United stand isn't the community it is because we all just sit there and go, bah, we're not a sheep. You are allowed to have an opinion, and it doesn't mean you're anti Ten Hag or anything like that. I don't think anybody's anti Ten Hag. I think everyone's pro Ten Hag, but you can question him when the team gets beat 7-0 and you don't like the team selection afterwards. Of course you can. You're a Man United fan. You've got every right to question things, and Ten Hag would welcome that as well. You don't have to feel guilt. I think some people feel guilt for it. So what I would say is that Jadon Sancho is a prime example, but you could use it for Wan-Bissaka and you could use it for Garnacho. Why are they not playing games? Why are they not getting game time? Mark, pal, I was watching this morning and wondering, this is from Mike Barton, I was wondering, what is the difference between a hedge fund and the Qataris? They both just want to profit from us, says Mike. Well, you don't know that. You don't know that. I think Qatar reflects what Abu Dhabi and Newcastle have done, and Man City and Saudi Arabia have done. I know I've mixed that up. I think a hedge fund is completely about wealth. Mark, what do you think of the lineup? Very ballsy of Ten Hag and could backfire, says Warrior. I like it. I think that's what management's about. I think there'll be a part of Ten Hag will know that he's going to get a little bit of raised eyebrows with that team selection, but that's what top management's all about, doing something that maybe not everyone else would do and be proving right. He's basically sending them players out and saying, I'm guarantee he'll have said this. He'll say to that team, look, there's lads here who probably deserve to start. There's going to be fans and the media saying you lot don't deserve to start. I'm putting my reputation on the line because I back and support you. Go and back me. It's very clever. It's smart from Ten Hag, says Charlie. He is giving everyone who started a chance to right a wrong. Exactly. And it doesn't matter the location they start in because the attack moves around fluidly. They won't stay fixed in those positions, says Billy. And I'm just annoyed we've got multiple wingers and we're putting Bruno there. My only criticism of Ten Hag, says Connor. Look, you can't... The thing is, you can't write a player off with Ten Hag. You can't do that. It's, people wrote off Wan-Bissaka and said he was his team, that his time was up, and it wasn't. So, you can't write off Sancho and say that he's not part of Ten Hag's plans, because he could well be part of Ten Hag's plans. And what I would say about Sancho is he's missed 3 months of football. I think people thought he was going to come back and be, Sancho of Dortmund. Maybe he came back for a couple of weeks and he's fell off a little bit. Maybe it's just all about managing him. Maybe he's had a few mental problems again, which apparently he had. So, mental health or whatever it is. I don't know what the problem is with Jadon Sancho or the issue is with Jadon Sancho. No one does, but you just don't know what the issue is. And I think patience is very important with Jadon Sancho. I will admit that, because I said it in the preview, if Jadon Sancho doesn't start today, you've got to look at yourself and go, what is my issue here? But I've also said, if it's a choice between Antony and Sancho, Ten Hag will go with Antony, because Ten Hag didn't spend £74 million on Jadon Sancho. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did. Ten Hag spent £85 million on Antony. His priority will be Antony. He's got to get the best out of Antony, because that's a very big commitment. That's his reputation, I've never met you and you still feel like a friend to me. I'm sure many that feel the same. Going through a tough time and you and the United stand helps. Well, hope you're doing well, mate. Zion, is it? Thank you very much. Haven't played since West Ham last week. Should be fresh and raring to go, says Shabanka. And Bruno gave up on us Sunday because he was tired, so he's starting today, says Trap. And hope we start a winning run and win another trophy. I cannot be arsed with these 7-up jokes. It's getting very old very quickly, says Jack, the Scottish lad. You know what? I've got no problem with Liverpool fans taking a pop at us, right? But I got sent a clip of, I think it was Arsenal fans, drinking 7-Up on a video, and I'm like, you wannabes. I mean, I like a lot of Arsenal fans. You know, I've been very respectful to Arsenal. I hope they win the league, and they've got some very sensible fans. You know who I'm talking about. It's the same old prats who probably hate the fact that they're winning because, you know, they did well ranting when they lost. But what are you drinking 7-Up for? You know, you didn't beat us, Liverpool did. And I hate to remind you, but you've been battered more than anybody. So, you know, it's cringy when you see fans of other clubs giving out the 7-Up thing. I'll take it from Liverpool fans, we've got to, but rival fans who aren't Liverpool, a bit weird. This is clearly a second chance for the players, says Ildo, and I would hate to be an Arsenal supporter trying to get into on the jokes, says Butterpants. Most Arsenal fans are fine, it's just the usual lot. There is a difference between being adamant and brave. Some of these players need rest, Mr. Ten Hag, says GJ. And even Chelsea fans banter us, and I can't believe it, says Tip. Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, Chelsea fans need to focus on their own thing, as do Arsenal in the title race. I mean, apparently Arsenal have lost tonight to Sporting Lisbon. I don't think that's a bad result for them. I really don't. Why is Weghorst at 10 again? We need a technical player in there. Give Sancho a try if he wants to play Bruno wide. Thank you very much. And will Malacia reach... Oh, it's 2-2 for Arsenal. Okay. Be interesting. I mean, I suppose Arsenal look... I mean, look, we're not an Arsenal channel. You know, we're definitely not. But I was looking at that because Arsenal will obviously be playing on Sunday, and I was interested to see how seriously Arteta is going to take this tournament, considering they've got a game on Sunday. And the reality is, he has made a lot of changes. You know, Ben White's playing... Vieira, but you know, Nelson start. He's made a few changes, but they're still going to get a decent result to bring it back to the Emirates. So, you know, Arsenal could probably go quite deep in this, even by making a few changes. Pick a starting 11 who played for United and in Spain, says Nick. No, I ain't got time for that, Nick. Do I look like I haven't got anything to talk to? De Gea, PK. No, I'm not even asked. The Wing Dingle, thank you very much for your super chat there. And there is a I've got an itchy nose again now. This is why do I start sneezing? I must be allergic to United at the moment after that 7-0. Been fine all day. Well, as soon as I sneeze once, though, that's it. My nose is like tickling for the next 2 hours. There's a difference between being adamant. I've done that one from GJ as well. So look, we've spoken about the team. It is the team that Ten Hag picked against Liverpool. That's how we're going to line up in this game. It's interesting, and I, haven't got a really massive problem with it. But what I would say is, it's got to go out there and perform. It's got to go out there and perform anyway. Martial's not on the bench. No, Martial's not on the bench. He's training with the first team, but he's not on the bench. I don't know in relation to Martial when he's going to be back, but he's not. He might not be back until after the international break. I suppose Ten Hag is just doing what, he's probably reached the end of his patience with Anthony Martial, hasn't he? I might be wrong, but doesn't winning the Europa Cup put us in Pool A for the Champions League draw, which is better than finish second and fourth in the league, says Charlie. I don't know about that, Charlie. I don't know about that. So Bits is not available. No, I can tell you what the bench is. A few people are asking what the bench is for Manchester United. I will get that for you because I haven't even looked at it myself. But let me just get it for you. I mean, the Betis side. I'm not going to pretend to read it out and know loads about it. But they're a good side. The bench for Man United is Lindelof, Maguire, Malacia, Heaton, Sancho, Pelestri, Wan-Bissaka. So 2 goalkeepers on the bench. Butland, Alanga, McTominay, Garnacho and Maino. I mean, there's not a lot on that bench, to be honest with you. Garnacho, Sancho and Wan-Bissaka are the only 3 I would consider bringing into that team. Look, this is what I mean about the Man United squad. There's how many players are there on that bench? 11? I mean, it's just not a lot of quality there for Man United. I mean, Lindelof will be on a good wage. Maguire's on a great wage. Don't know what Malacia is on. Don't know what Heaton's on. Sancho's on 300 grand a week. Pelestri don't know. Wan-Bissaka will be on a good wage. Butland I don't know. Alanga I don't know. McTominay will be on a decent wage. And there's there's a lot of kids and then there's a lot of money on that bench. But I look at it and I go, there's not an amazing, it's not like yesterday where Bayern Munich have got Mane, Sane and Gnabry on their bench. I don't really, I still think there's a lot of work to do with this United side. The Betis side is Bravo, Sabali, Pezzala, Marquis, Santos, Carvalho, Rodriguez, De Silva, Rodriguez, Wanmi and Perez, who used to be at Leicester. We should win this game with the players we've got out. Have you considered doing my player career mode? No. Could be VH at 9, Bruno at 10, and Rashford left, to be fair. It's a super Scholesy. More goals conceded than West Ham, Crystal Palace, and same amount as Wolves. Why do you still back Ten Hag? Hope you're well also, says Joseph. Why do I back Ten Hag? Well, it's pretty simple, really. We've won our first trophy in 6 years. We're in the top 4, which I didn't actually think we'd do. And, we've still got a chance to win another 2 trophies. It's not, it's a good season for Man United. There's been some real big lows, but they've been few and far between. I mean, look, as much as people criticise Bruno Fernandes, our win ratio with him as captain is 63%, and we only lose 16% of our games. So, it's not great. And I'm just looking at, they're just showing the Liverpool highlights here and the amount of people tracking back. Have you ever considered having your own radio channel? I would tune in home and away, talking about anything from United to what you had for dinner, says Joshua. Thank you very much, Joshua. Just remember last season, will ya? Says Paul Gray. Yeah, exactly. And thoughts on Breaking Bad, says NGD. I enjoyed it when I watched it. And all these things Mark just mentioned, and he didn't get backed in January, says Ben. Exactly. And I would take Bruno over Anthony every day and twice in Sundays, says Sean T. And at 9:42 of the training video, Adam called this exact team and stated his reasons why Erik ten Hag would stick with it. Great video and great to see United giving more access and having a more collaborative approach, says Casey. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, nice observation. And Derek, welcome to the Members Club. Osman and De Jong are obvious picks. If you could make a more left field signing this summer, who would you go for, says Matthew. Well, I don't know whether you saw the news. There was a news story this afternoon from The Guardian saying that Ten Hag's priority is Harry Kane and that we're looking at Mason Mount. And look, Osman for me suits our future better than Harry Kane because he's younger and I think he's got a higher ceiling. And he's doing it at a higher level, let's be honest, but in a better footballing side than Spurs. But maybe we will go for Harry Kane. I've said that before. As for Mason Mount, if we signed Mason Mount and Harry Kane, I'd be disappointed. And I like Harry Kane and Mason Mount, but I'd be like, we're trying to win titles and we're buying English players. When has that ever worked? When have Man United gone out and bought a couple of English players as their big signings and then gone and won the league? Now, there may well be a year that we've done that, but it's not been very recent. The last 10 years, we've not had a good... Well, look, the last 2 English players we bought for big money were Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire. My feeling with English players are that you can buy cheaper, better players with better scouting outside of England. And I really would not be over the moon with Harry Kane and Mason Mount as our summer transfer window. But I wanted to bring it in because maybe some of you would. And I do like Mason Mount and I do like Harry Kane. But I think as a combination, we're getting very close to a Gareth Southgate squad there, aren't we? Mason Mount, Harry Kane. What's Harry Maguire going to stay as captain? It's almost like becoming a Southgate side. So not for me. What's winning today? Tea or coffee? If you know, another 3-1 win, Ryan. Actually 2-1. I didn't get my third cup of tea, so it was closer. Would you take Richarlison for 30 million? He clearly wants to leave Tottenham and he seems to be playing well for Brazil. Look, Sakin, if Ten Hag wants Kane, buy Kane. If he wants Richarlison, buy Richarlison. I'll draw the line at an Artovich, but, Richarlison's not a bad player. I heard Arsenal are going to battle United for Osman's signature, says Mohammed. Well, the problem that I have there is that what are you going to do with Jesus? Like, we've actually got a number 9 shirt. At the start of the season, if you said we would be top 4 in a trophy, but we lose 7-0 away to Liverpool after beating them at home, we would take it, says Nick Warren. Yeah, of course we would. And of course we would, 100%. And Rose says, do you think fans will be singing Glazers out again tonight? Apparently the Elliott group will be at the match, says Rose. Who's the bloody Elliott? The Elliott group can go and swing. Really. Swing off. Open Twitter, Mark, says Mohammed. Alexi McAllister ticks all the boxes, Charlie Max. And it is understood there will be potential investors of Man United at tonight's game, potentially from the Elliott Investment Management Group. Oh, yeah. I mean, I do not like this. Do I not like that? I don't want them anywhere near our football club. I really don't. They are a gun for hire. They are basically offering the money up for anybody, whether it's the Glazers or anybody else. No, I don't want an investment group near Man United. I think it would be a real shame. It's nothing to do with us. We can't stop it happening, but it would be a real shame. I don't believe Ten Hag wants those British players. I think it's just the board and bad recruiting, says Joshua. And not a popular take. Probably I'd be looking at Werner, says Jake. Look, again, if Ten Hag said Werner's the man he wants, I'd back it. I don't mind that sort of out-of-the-box thinking. I really don't. No, my dog only watches the TV when you're on it, says Rory. That's fantastic. Hire the agent 47 for the Glazers. Elliott Management Group has balls coming to Old Trafford tonight, entering hostile territory. And Kane is basically a centre midfielder now, says Chris C. Look, if the Elliott Group are there to prop up the Glazers, I'm going to tweet it out. Yeah, it is coming in from Simon Stone. A few people have mentioned De Jong in the chat. It's no news. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, people believe everything that they read and hear. Like, De Jong has said that he wants to stay at Barcelona for many years. He said it all last summer, and we still tried to sign him. I mean, you know, people go, oh, I even got tagged in it from Barcelona fans, and Goldbridge thinks they're going to sign him. Look, if he signs for Man United, I'll be right. If he doesn't sign for Man United, he doesn't sign for Man United. But there's a lot of noise around him. Joshua Khan says Elliott Group is worse than the Glazers. Anybody who keeps the Glazers in power is worse than the Glazers, because the Glazers have to go. There's a talented 17-year-old winger. He's insane, says Mohammed. He's called Angelo. And what do you think of the United lineup, says Sean? It's not the team I would have picked, but I think it's very clever from the manager to send the same players out that got humiliated by Liverpool and say, go and improve. Michael Sadi says, I have this worrying suspicion that Ten Hag is playing Weghorst at 10 to prepare the team for Kane, says Michael Sadi. You might be onto something with that, I suppose. Potentially. Could be something in it. What else have we got? My opinion, Harry Kane is Weghorst with better finishing abilities. I feel Weghorst has a better work rate. Qatar in, says Sakin. Thoughts on Ahmad, bring him back or sell on to lower wage bill, says Ryan. I can't make that decision, mate, and it won't be our decision to make. Ahmad, Mejbri, any young player that's been on loan, Ethan Laird, I would take them on the tour, see what they're like on tour with the first team, and maybe you sell them, maybe you keep them, maybe you send them on loan again. But it's a bit like making a decision on Sabitzer and Weghorst. We don't need to make that decision at the moment. Evening, Mark. With all the stories floating today about Qatar willing to walk away, should we be worried or just sale tactics? Cheers, pal. That's from Joshua Aiden. Well, I was going to talk about this, Joshua, actually, so thank you very much. Mark, I just joined the chat. Eric picked the same team that faced Liverpool to face the crowd. Love it. Just put his team on trial and the fans are the jurors. Amir, that's a very intelligent viewpoint on it. Thank you very much for your super chat there. Yeah, exactly. Why not? Yeah, look, there was a story on Sky today. I don't know whether you saw it. Story on Sky today. Let me just have a stretch. That basically came in from Sky saying that what was it? Yeah, that Qatar will not be held to ransom by Manchester United and they will not overpay. that Al-Thani, who is bidding for Manchester United, is a businessman, and will not pay over the odds for something that he wants just because the Glazers think he can. So everybody who's saying, well, and I don't think it helps. People keep quoting this journalist from Qatar who says, "See you on March the 30th," and this, that, and the other. But his rhetoric is completely different to that one that Al-Thani's people close to him are putting out. They're putting out that they won't be held to ransom, and that they won't pay silly money. And then you've got this journalist going around saying, "Yeah, we will." And it's like, it could just be a journalist. It could be the equivalent of bloody, Romano. You don't know what that's all about. But look, at the end of the day, if Qatar aren't willing to spend $5 billion on Manchester United, then maybe somebody does, and they don't get us. I think people get very excited about what a Qatar bid would mean for Manchester United, but it doesn't mean that they're going to overpay. Their plan might be to pump $10 billion into United over the next 5 years, but they might just say, "But I'm not giving the Glazers more than $4.5 billion." So you just don't know. Cheers, Mark. After Sunday, I'd like to see some extra effort from the players who down tools to restore my faith in them. Let's go. But of course, Uhtred, we're in a dangerous position, aren't we? Because if those same players play well tonight and put the effort in, will you be convinced? Because you never know. Against Fulham in a couple of weeks, they might play like they did against Liverpool. They've got to do it every week. And it starts tonight, but they've got to do it every week. Happily to my partner for 23 years today, says Rob. Love deep and love long. Says Rob. I think he meant happily been with his partner for 23 years. So congratulations, Rob. If you only drop De Lo and Weghorst, it could seem like Erik ten Hag is singling them out. They all played awful on Sunday. Let them go out and prove themselves, says Pidge. Good point. And I'm so over all this sale nonsense. Just get them out so we can finally be happy and move on as a club. Thank Christ it's game day, says Big Dave. Yeah, I completely agree. Mate. Yeah, we do need to get it resolved. And look, whether the Elliott Group is here to watch United so they can lend the Glazers the money to stay in power, whether Qatar want the club but they won't pay stupid price and someone else will offer more, who knows? There might be an investment firm that think they can double the money and put us in the Super League who want to pay $6 billion, in which case they'll buy us. He doesn't want to leave any time for angst to build up in the players who played Liverpool. Also, there are shirts for Casemiro, Erik ten Hag. Can we have one for Dave, please? Says Catherine. Good point. And after seeing the books, any shrewd buyer will not pay over $6 billion. With that said, with investment, United could be a giant, which our rivals know, says KC. And yeah, I meant married, says Rob. Thank you very much. And Robert McCormack's just mentioned something here. If I can just find it. If Qatar would Osman and Tony as backup, please. Yeah, we're not going to buy him and Tony. I don't think anyone is, with all the charges he's going to face. I take it Southampton is going to be much changed, says Robert McCormack. Well, I'm glad you brought me back on track, Robert McCormack, because Robert McCormack, you're absolutely correct, mate. Sorry, I'm just stretching here because I've got a shooting pain in my left hamstring, which means my back is out of position a bit. You make a good point. We're going to play Southampton at 2 o'clock on Sunday. Let's not forget the old Thursday-Sunday problem. I think we're going to weaken our team against Southampton on the weekend. I don't think he's going to be able to pick the same side. I can certainly see Maguire starting next to Martinez and Varane getting a rest. I can see Wan-Bissaka starting instead of De Lo, no matter how well we play tonight. I think there will be some rotation because I think there has to be. Maybe McTominay comes into the team as well. So you're right. Robert makes a really good point. We will see change against Southampton. We're still in this ridiculous schedule, aren't we? And the same thing, it'll be even worse next week. It'll be even worse next week, won't it? Because we'll play Thursday night in Spain, and then we're going to play Fulham in the FA Cup final on the Sunday. So, look, a Liverpool game was horrible, but we've got 4 really tough games. We need to beat Southampton, because if we don't beat Southampton, we're opening up the door to people behind us, aren't we? So we definitely need to beat Southampton. And we need to beat Betis and we need to beat Fulham. And they will be challengers in their own ways, because you've got to go and play Thursday, Sunday in both. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Very interesting. I must just warn everybody who's watching, I was doing a watch along last night and my computer just shut itself down, which killed the stream. It took me about 2 minutes to get back up and running again. Just as a warning, if any point it does that tonight, it's not internet related, it's laptop related, which is going to get renewed over the weekend. So if I do cut off at any point, just hang around on the homepage. I'll be back at some point. Sticking with the team shows balls from Erik ten Hag. If they fail again, he will get the blame. So giving them a chance and protecting them shows class, says Daniel Weller. Yeah, well, it shows loyalty. It definitely shows loyalty to the team, and they need to go out there and repay him. That's what it's all about. 100%. United should go back to buying the best players from the smaller Premier League clubs, says Stuart. And Mark, would you like to see Benfica Ramos in a United shirt? I wouldn't mind. In 2027, I'll apply for a mortgage, buy in Elland shares, got strength competition in 24, I've benched 120k, says Alex. Your guess is as good as mine. Trippier had a massive betting ban. Bye, Tony, says Charlie Max. And ref shocking, we best get a good ref. Hi, Mark. Have you thought about getting a standing desk? It'll be easier to stretch. I have, Broken Pig. I have. I was looking at one this week, actually. I'm going to get one. What do I reckon the score's going to be? 3-0, Man United. Get your score predictions in. I'm going to go 3-0 Man United tonight. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner to do it. You're very welcome on the United stand. Apparently, Ten Hag has made some comments, so we're just going to read those out to you before the game starts. Here we go. So Ten Hag has had this to say. The players get the opportunity for rehabilitation. But we look to this game. This is the most important game, and we picked the team to give us the best chance of winning the game. We lowered our standards in the last couple of games. Sunday we got hammered in the second half, and we have to get back to our standards, values, demands, and what we have to bring on the pitch. I think that gives you a little bit more insight, doesn't it? This is his best side. Whether you like it or not, this is his best side. And what he's doing is, he's saying, I want to win things. I need to get that side, because it's my best side, back playing its best football ASAP. Because otherwise, we're weak. And I said this at the weekend. Well, I didn't. I said it on Monday. Anybody who's asking for change, remember last week against West Ham, we rotated and we were dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. So lots of changes. I would never have. I mean, I didn't want the centre-backs to change. I didn't want the midfield to change. I don't want, the only change I would make, and I'd understand Wan-Bissaka for Delo, but I prefer Delo, you know that. The only change I would have made was Weghorst out and put Sancho in, and maybe Anthony out for Garnacho. That's all I would have done. I wouldn't have done anything with the midfield, especially with no Sabitzer being available. So, let me have a quick look. Anything else to report? Ten Hag also says, don't forget, we'd lost one game in the last 23. Now the second. It was a huge defeat, definitely, but we need to bounce back. It's a test of character, says Paul Scholes, to those players. We've got a great bond with the fans, and on Sunday we let them down. We want revenge, says Ten Hag. And Elliott Investment Group, who are willing to provide funding around the club rather than buy into the club itself, are at Old Trafford tonight. That's from BBC Sports. It is understood there will be potential investors of Man United at tonight's game, potentially from the Elliott Investment Group. And then it goes on to say they are willing to provide funding around the club rather than buy into the club itself, and they're at Old Trafford. I've just quote tweeted it for you on my Twitter if you want to read that. There we go. Derek says, did you get sacked by the YouTube All-Stars? It was a one-game contract. No, I shouldn't have been. I bloody should have been promoted. It wasn't my fault we lost. If you want to laugh, read the Sun, Mark. Apparently PSG want to pay 50 million for Maguire in the summer. I assume they'll throw Mbappe in too, says Glennie. I think, you know what? If there's anybody from PSG watching, that would be a bargain. Please don't do it. Please don't buy Harry Maguire for 50 million, PSG. But if you are thinking about doing it, do it quick, because there'll be a big queue of people. But please don't do it. That's a steal. You're getting one of our best players. If this is our best side, then that doesn't need Sancho need to go. Second highest player in the squad and starts on the bench is right. Look, I can't give you the answer on Sancho because people will start saying he's finished, he's too expensive, and he doesn't even get used. But on the other hand, he hasn't played football for 3 months, so it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult to say what the future is for Sancho because Ten Hag, look at Wan-Bissaka. He wasn't playing for 5 months and then suddenly became one of our best players. So I don't think you can write anybody off. Dropping certain players today could have individualised the blame for the Liverpool loss. Ten Hag showing we are a team, says Shaf. Thank you very much. Legend of the chat, Andreas, has gifted 5 United Stand memberships. Thank you very much, pal. If you got one, make sure you say thank you. We should have like Madrid's mentality. They lose something by heavy scores against Barca, but they always bounce back in the Champions League, says Mohammed. We need to start winning games in the first half, and I hope today is the start of it, says Ankit. Using the same team that just recently got trashed shows the unreasonable stubbornness from Eric. What are your thoughts on the team, Mark, says Dang. And as I say, I back the manager. I can see why he's done it. I think it's brave and clever. And what do I know? But would I have picked a different team? Yes. I don't like Weghorst at number 10. I hate it. I don't like Bruno on the wing. I hate it. I hope that's not going to happen. But look, he's the manager. Let's hope it works. What would be your starting 11 from the Sidemen charity match? Says Broken Pig. Oh, I'm not talking about that, mate. Yeah. We're here to talk about Man United. We're not here to talk about that. I put myself in it, though, and we wouldn't have lost. Also, our Elliott Investment Fund, the ones that will fund the Glazers for the stadium but take no ownership. Yes, Nick, 97. So the Elliott Investment Fund, which have been around Man United for the last few weeks, they don't want to buy Man United. They want to invest in somebody who wants to buy Man United. So basically, it's more debt. They want to... If I said to the Elliott Investment Group, I want to buy Man United, they're willing to give me the money to buy Man United. But of course, I've got to pay them back. It's debt. It's just instead of putting debt on the club, you're putting debt on yourself to the Elliott Investment Group. How are you going to pay that back? Dividends. What happened to chart shows, Mark? I just got too busy, mate. Too busy. Sporting were actually very good, says Suki. But somebody just said, how do you pay them back? Ineos, I think, are borrowing money so that Sir Jim Radcliffe can buy Man United. Most people will have to borrow money to buy Man United. I'm not disputing that, but I don't like the idea of an investment group. Basically, hello, we're at Man United. Does anyone want to buy Man United? We'll lend you the money. It's worrying. It's worrying. And Hash says there's been a 5% drop in Man United share price today. Something brewing inside. I hope the Glazers are not staying. Well, I hope that price keeps dropping. I really do. I think, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be buying shares for Man United at the moment, would you? I wouldn't, because there's too much uncertainty. What if the Glazers are going to stay? If you can't afford to buy the club, they shouldn't own the club, says Dougie. And you don't buy players, the numbers don't add up if the Glazers take on debt, says Chris. And Ineos are very wealthy, but all their wealth is tied up in assets, says Alan. And we also had a super chat from Jim. He says, can't stop watching you emerge from the floor at 7-0. I don't believe it. It's helped me get through the trauma. So funny. Yeah. Wasn't funny at the time. I've not watched it. I haven't watched any of that back. I was trading in future overlook Man United. I'd put down 50 million and 21 million moving average over 90 days and it actually looks like bear market. Alex, again, I don't know what you're talking about. Am I the only one who thinks Ten Hag has absolutely disgraced this club by starting the same team? As if losing 7-0 wasn't bad enough to get the sack, he does this. Rishab, you are having a laugh. You're having a laugh. He's having a laugh. Marky Mark, thoughts on Victor? And not happy with the starting lineups in Premier League. I'm not that bothered. Why do you have City... I don't know what we're talking about. Sorry, I'm reading some crap comments here. Sorry. I need to try and refocus. Gary says, I think that the team tonight's going to turn up. I mean, look, we've spent very little time. Don't forget, we're sponsored by Surfshark. Scan the QR code or go through the link in the video description. Fantastic virtual private network. Protects your identity online. If you're on holiday in Australia or something and you want to use your UK Netflix, you can just say that you're in London. Get 3 months off. 3 months free. Not 1, not 2, but 3 months free. and 83% off your subscription for Surfshark. Give it a go. Links in the live chat or scan the QR code next to me. Just watch Sporting versus Arsenal and watching this, says Philip. Okay. YouTube All-Stars was a better side than Van Gaal's Man United, says Hassan. Look, that YouTube All-Star team played some bloody good football. If you watched it, you know why we lost, and it wasn't because of bad football. Anyway, Glazer ownership is through a series of shell companies in the Caymans. Only a full sale will even be feasible, says David Rosenberg. And what does Wan-Bissaka need to do to start? Delo hasn't played well. I think Palestri is very technical and should start at Cam. It's a bear market, says Marcus Brown. And thoughts on Frankie saying he's happy to stay at Barca for years. Shall we put our focus elsewhere? Look, if there's absolutely no chance of getting Frankie de Jong, Liam, we should walk away. But we didn't do that last summer, so there must be something going on. We've not spoken about Betis at all. And we are kicking off this game in just over 10 minutes. Betis are a decent footballing side. Possession-wise, I think they're going to give us a game. And remember, the first leg is Old Trafford. The second leg's over there. So I think even if they only lost 1-0, I still think they'd see that as a good result. We do need to go and get 2 or 3 goals and have a big lead tonight. So I think there's probably not been much focus on Betis because of what happened to us on Sunday, and we demand a reaction. But we've got to respect Betis. They might be a decent side. What are we drinking tonight, Mark? Rashford hat-trick incoming, says David. I'm on the water tonight. I know it's boring. What's a bigger final if we're fortunate to reach it? Arsenal United, Roma United or Juventus United? All interesting for their own reasons, and the build-up would be immense. Out of those 3, I would like Roma, Casey. I think Roma would be great because of Mourinho. In my opinion, I'd rather have them. Hi Mark, not sure about the team tonight, but I have faith in Ten Hag, says Mohammed. Hope you're doing well, pal. And Andy Cheetham says, Bruno should be at number 10. I get why Ten Hag has done it to show faith and give them the chance to redeem themselves. Faith in Eric, says Andy. You're trending on Twitter, Mark, and it's not good, says Marcus Brown. And genius by Eric Ten Hag. Why knock morale by dropping them? This gets it out of their system. Sir Alex didn't go mad when 3-0 down to Spurs. I'm not trending on Twitter. I had to check, but I'm not. Snow is trending on Twitter. Paul Pogba is trending on Twitter. And Mr. Beast is trending on Twitter. I'm not trending on Twitter. I'm on Twitter now, so I may as well see if we've got any other quotes. I'm going 3-0 in Man United tonight. I think we've got to respond. He's picked the same team, whether you agree with it or not. That's what he's done. Mark, how much of Gio Reyna have you watched? Watching him last night versus Chelsea, I think he could provide very good competition for Bruno, says Justin. Phil Jones to save our season. He's key to all of it, says Josh. Bit of snow in Manchester, by the way. Bit of snow. Betis have got a 41-year-old playing. We've got to win this, says Daniel. Don't be an ageist. I think Anthony's got to have a good game. Paul Gray. Manchester United says it's genius by Ten Hag. Why knock morale further by dropping them? This gets it out of their system. Sir Alex didn't go mad when 3-0 down to Spurs in the 5-3 win. Oh, I love that game. Love that game. It's freezing in Manchester. Well, it will be. I can see the snow coming down. Let's have a look. We don't normally snowcast with Mark Goldbridge. Let's have a look at what the weather's meant to be in Manchester tonight. Let's have a look. So the forecast is sort of sleet all the way through the game. 94% of Manchester will see sleet all the way through till 10 o'clock. So expect that. That's what's coming up for you. Wet and cold conditions. 10 minutes to go until the start of this game. I've played the game. Get back to the chat. Hi Mark, I went to 7-Eleven the other night and was like, wow, there's a lot in this store, says Ken. Hilarious. And welcome to the Members Club, Regard. I was out an hour ago in Manchester, it was freezing, says Ruben. Yeah, well, you know, maybe Betis might be a bit of a problem, because it'll probably be really warm in Betis, wherever Betis is. It'll probably be warm in Spain. James has gifted a membership. Thank you very much, James. And I could do the weather. I wouldn't mind doing that. Hoping for a strong first half and subs quickly in the second half. The same team being played is great, but we need to reinvigorate this squad, says Umar. And it's in Sevilla. Thank you very much. You know what? That's something I did not know. I didn't know what city Betis was in. You know, education there. And they play in Sevilla. Thank you very much. Thanks very much for that. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner to do it. You're very welcome on the United Stand. We are only 50 subscribers away from 616,000. So make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Live every night at 8 o'clock. Every morning at 10 o'clock. Loads of other stuff as well. We have our weekly Monday morning chat with Ben Foster, which goes up on the channel. We get Romano on every couple of weeks as well. Loads of stuff going on. Thank you very much. Betis drew with Betis are a decent side. Like I'm not going to lie. They drew with Real Madrid at the weekend. They're a good side. You know, I do normally do the whole this will be easy because the Premier League's better than La Liga, but even though we knocked out Barcelona, we got thrashed by Liverpool, who got thrashed by Real Madrid. So, you know, we need to reassert our influence, don't we, tonight? And I think we will. I think there's going to have to be a really quick start from Manchester United. There's going to have to be a really energetic start from Man United. Possession's got to improve. Keep your eye on this thing as it's going round. Sponsored by OneFootball. You can scan the QR code there or go through the video description. Get all your latest breaking football news, transfer news. And what I do like about OneFootball as well is that we've got the stats for the team there, but they individualise it as well. So you can go into individual players and see their pass succession, etc. It's free to download. Apple, Android. Check it out with the OneFootball app. But going back to what was on the stats screen just there, which will update as the game's going round, one thing we've noticed in the last couple of games is that our pass completion accuracy has been around 70% the last couple of games. For most of the last 2 months, it's been up around 85%. So, you know, I'm not a massive fan of certain stats because I think stats can be misleading. But when you've got an 85% pass completion rate and it's dropping down to 70%, that is showing you one very, very clear thing. We're not passing very well. So we need to improve on that. Mark, you the man. It's funny how people talk about 7-0, but it's only one match. FSG owns Liverpool. We will be back. We are Manchester United, says William Turner. Look, Liverpool haven't got a game till Saturday. If they want to keep going on about 7-0, that's absolutely fine. We've got a game tonight. We've got to move on. And that's why, you know, our success against Barcelona has meant that we don't have to wait till Sunday to play again. So let's get it on. Let's get it on. Hi Mark, love your show. Will you consider a good season winning the FA Cup and no top four? No, Gershwin, I wouldn't, because we wouldn't be in the Champions League. If we don't get top four but we win the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup and the Europa League, it's a good season because the Europa League puts you in the Champions League and you win 3 trophies. What would I rather have? Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Europa League and no top four? Or would I rather have top four, Carabao Cup and FA Cup? I'd probably take FA Cup, Carabao Cup and top four. Domestic success is what we want this season. I wouldn't like the stress of having to win the Europa League final to get in the Champions League. Nitin, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Joshua Bowwater's in the house. We know Joshua. Has Doherty changed his normal score prediction considering what we faced on Sunday? Bet he was gutted. He'd been waiting for that scoreline for ages. The opposite way around. Yeah, Joshua, yeah, I think he still does go 7-0 to Man United. So, still waiting. Wouldn't be surprised if... I've gone 3-0 tonight, by the way. Wouldn't be surprised if this is a bit of a grind. I can see Betis sitting deep, says Runner. Hey, oh, here we go. If I was Betis, that's exactly what I would do. If If I was Betis, I'd go, Man United struggle against the low block. We're going to sit in. We're going to make it difficult. Weghorst is playing at 10. He's not creative. Bruno's on the wing. That's not going to work. Rashford's good on the break. Don't give him a break. They're going to be nervous. Part of me thinks, look, if we get 0-0, great. If we lose 1-0, great. But, do we need to go on attack? We've got a second leg. And also, the longer it takes them to score, the more anxious they'll get. Do you think it's bad? So, it's actually, we'll probably start doing that more regularly, thinking about what the opposition should do against Man United. And as boring as it is, if you're playing a team that's just lost 7-0, you know exactly what they're going to do at home. They're going to come out like a bull that's in a field full of female cows who's not had any for a few months. They're going to be on the rampage. But all you got to do is, if you're one of those cows, just go and put your back up against the fence. Yo, you think that's bad? I'm living in the Scottish Highland. It's like being in the North Pole, except Santa doesn't live here, says Jack, the Scottish lad. Do you get fed up of snow? Because I quite like snow when we get it, because it's so rare. Jeff, thanks for being a member for 3 months. And off topic, Lewandowski and Benzema hit different levels in their 30s with modern sports science and nutrition. I've no doubt Kane can do the same. That's a very good counter-argument, Elijah. I will give you that. Fairbridge. 3-1 United with a Bruno brace and Luke Shaw getting one, says no. I love these. I bloody love these. I don't mind score predictions. They're hard enough. But I love it when people go 4-1 to Manchester United, Mark. Bruno to score in the first minute. Then Rashford gets 2 before the 30th minute. And then the 4th goal will be deflected off the referee's leg in the 77th minute. Speak later. I'm off to have a bowl of shreddies. I mean, I respect it. I respect the grind. Like, how do people's minds work that they don't just predict the score prediction? They predict the scorers and when they're going to happen. I mean, my mind doesn't work like that. 7-Up must sponsor the United stand. I tell you what, I'd love 7-Up to sponsor the United stand. They're bloody loaded, and I quite like 7-Up. I mean, look, I know it was funny for 3 days, but I do think it's becoming a little bit tired now. Liverpool, our biggest rival, battered us. We all know it. It's in the history books and it will get mentioned. But honestly, I don't think United fans are as bothered about it as they were on Monday or Tuesday, because we've got a game now and we've got to move on. And at the end of the day, Liverpool will lose a game at some point in the next few weeks. And as long as we win our games, the points gap will get bigger between them in the league. It's a horrible, horrible result. And Liverpool have got every right to banter us. But bloody hell, it's snowing a lot. That's a lot of snow coming down here. Could get called off. No. I believe in the team. We've won well this season, says Tumbleweed. And Kane signing would remind me so much of the Maguire one. Can see it going wrong a mile off, says Nick97. Just a bit of... ISO says, damn that snow. Just a little bit of geography for you from me. Not geography, meteorology. When I was a lad, I remember going to, I can't remember where it was. We drove there. I can't remember what game it was, but it was a Wednesday night match. I think it was Notts County against somebody, and I was going to watch a game, Notts County, on a Wednesday night when I was about 9, and it got called off because of fog. And it used to be quite often. I think it used to happen at Old Trafford as well. Games used to get called off because of frost, and games used to get played and called off because of snow. It will never happen in the Premier League now because they've got under grass heating, so the snow will never collect on Old Trafford because it's got heating underneath. It's like a radiator. I'm not a lad anymore. I'm not Alvito. I'm not. Not no more. This is at Old Trafford, yes. Let's get ready to rumble. Hey, we've hit 500 and we've hit 616,000. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Right. Anybody think we're not going to win? To be honest, Anything can happen in a game like this. It could happen. Anything could happen in a game like this. Bruno there, the captain, whacking. I remember him in the Gladiator and the Joker. No, I remember he's been playing for years. Is he the 14-year-old? 41-year-old? Once I was 7 years old. Marky's not that confident. I am. Come on. You know what? I've probably been not my normal self. I'm normally a lot more bouncy in the hour before. That was a struggle. So I want to thank everybody for getting involved, because I struggled with that. I am still very battered and bruised from Sunday. It's this next minute I'm ready for. I just want to get this game up and going. I want Man United to play. We've all been waiting this for 4 days. I just want us to get playing again and start whatever it is we're going to do between now and the end of the season. And if we're not going to achieve, let's get to the summer and start rebuilding the team. But this is an opportunity. Ten Hag's gone with the same players. Whether you agree with it or not, I can see why he's done it. Let's see what they can do, because they've got to start fast. If this is a boxing fight, you're going straight in to throw some big punches. None of this bloody tactical shit. They owe us a result. And here we go. Thank you for your super chat, Akshay. He says, hi Mark, is it me or are we playing against Spurs and Chelsea with very high intensity earlier in the season? Because of fatigue, we cannot do that every match. But is that a tactical decision? Actually, I think that's a great point, because I don't think we can do it. You think about that Spurs game. That Spurs game was brilliant intensity, and it's very hard to do that when you're playing every 3 days. But we need to try and do something like that. Did you just say once I was 7 years old? That's because people keep using the word 7. I'm going 4-0 to United. Quick bounce back from Sunday, says Andrew. I tell you what, if we beat Betis 4-0, that's very unlikely. I mean, I've gone 3-0. Because I'm the same as you. I'm going for something ridiculous. But Betis don't concede many. They're a good side. 3-0 would be a real shock. It would. Respect. I'm going 4-0 to United. Yeah, that was Andrew. Small. It'll never be 4-0, says Bark at the Moon. Oh, good to have Man United back playing after all this shit of the last few days, though, isn't it? Can't even see the snow on the screen, can you? But it is snowing. Fred just gave a foul up there. Could have got booked for that. I mean, look, he's another one we've not even spoke about. How bad did you think Fred was on Sunday? Because I'm normally quite on the ball with Fred. Like I can spot a good performance and a bad performance. A lot of people got on Fred's shot on his back, but I actually think we got a lot worse than when Fred went off. I thought McTominay was dreadful. I'm not saying Fred was any good, but look, first 2 minutes, United aren't having it their own way. Common sense, as I hope they prove themselves. I like the idea of using the same players. Macrina says, I live in Aberdeen and it went down to -16 in the Shire yesterday. I haven't watched Lord of the Rings in ages. Rashford's on the wing. And Bruno's playing in the midfield, by the way. So we're not... Bruno's almost... Bruno's playing very deep. Yeah, we've got Rashford. I like this. We've got Rashford on the wing and Weghorst at number 9. So at least we've got that. Weghorst has started at strikers as Mario Franco. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's a big plus straight away. Do not want to see Weghorst at 10. Put him up front. Come on, United. Here's Bruno. Bruno's all over the place at the moment. He's on the right wing. Anthony's just very bad at the moment at keeping possession. That was a simple pass to Bruno, and he tries to flick it with his left foot. If he's right-footed, I mean, look, Arjen Robben was left-footed, and you know, if you asked him to do anything with his right foot, he'd probably fall over. But the trouble Anthony's got at the moment is his left foot's not very good at passing either. Good ball by Casemiro into Bruno. That is. Slide rule pass into Anthony. Come on then. Bit of space. What you got? You got to put the cross in. Good pass. Now it's Fred. Cross is good. Weghorst, goal! Manchester United! He's offside. It's a shame. It was a shame. It was a good bit of play. It was a good bit of build-up play here. But Fred finds himself miles offside. It's a shame. But to be fair, he's never putting that cross in like that if he's not offside. And maybe Weghorst handballed it as well. Why did you celebrate ISO? Because it's fast. I can't. I'm not the bloody linesman. Mark, what do you think? Who do you think will go through? We will. Hold on, Delo. Oh, fucking hell. Why is David De Gea heading that? Oh, my God. I mean, to be fair to De Gea, yeah, Delo's saying sorry. What was Delo doing there? Nice ball here. Bruno, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Nice bit of space. Oh, what's that? Rashford! Oh, hit it first time! Yes! Rashford! 1-0 to United! Redemption! Not quite, but it's 1-0. He's roofed that. Mentality. He spoke yesterday about wanting to get back on the pitch. United lead after 5 minutes. There's no response from Ten Hag. He wants more. But Manchester United roar into the lead on this cold winter's night. It's a rocket to warm the United crowd. And Betis go 1-0 down in the first 5 minutes. Bruno Fernandes heavily involved. And the cross came in. I don't know whether he meant that cross, but it caused problems and Rashford roofs it. Lovely finish by Rashford. 1-0 to Manchester United. Get in. That's exactly the start that we wanted. Get in. 1-0. Perfect. Look, you know what? There'll be people in the chat. 7-0? Oh, man's celebrating goal against Spanish farmers. You know, this is the Europa League. We knocked Barcelona out to get here. We've got to go away next week. I want to lead. I want to get through. I want to get to the quarterfinals. I want to win this. It's unlike the loss on Sunday, we actually win a trophy from winning these games. So, let's go. Let's go. I sensed that in the interview yesterday with Rashford in the press conference that he was focused as well, and he's done it again. What a season he's having. What a season. And look at where he popped up as well from the left wing on that right-hand side. But this is a good start by United. Betis look a little bit ropey, don't they? And United are looking confident. I'd love 3-0. I'd love it. There's Rashford with the goal on his shoulder, look. But you know what? I must go back to that goal actually came from the mistake that was made at the back, where Delo, for some reason, the pass back from Delo is going in, and it's head height for De Gea. He's got to do something with it. He should have. Well, to be honest, on a night like this, trying to flick it out for a goal kick, a corner, it might have flicked off his head. I think De Gea did the right thing. It was a terrible back pass by Delo, but ultimately it sparked the counter. Did you see Weghorst score with his chest? He is the Fellaini regen, says James Clough. Thank you very much, James, for your super chat. This could be a long night for Betis, says Stephen. Okay, they're a decent side, Betis, but United need to respond. Nice ball to Delo. Confident. Great to get an early goal as well. When you've been beat 7-0 and you've got a point to prove, early goal just knocks the confidence up, you know. If you ever played snooker where you hit a long shot in, the next 10 minutes you can't miss. Oh, half a chance for Veghorst there. Look, who put that cross in? Tough effort, tough chance. It's Casemiro, isn't it? He's off. No, he's onside. Veghorst would have been onside. Have you seen that shadow in Boston pushing people off their bikes, Mark? Come on, United. No? Don't know what that's all about, MB. Hi, Mark. Going through a hard time recently. Thanks for keeping me going, says Shia. Keep your head up, mate. Keep your head up. You've got a great community here. Did you see I've done that. Yeah, keep your head up, mate. I had a down moment today. Made myself a cup of tea and there was no sugar left. No, I'm joking. I'm trying to bring some humour into it. Oh, I did about 4 o'clock today. I had a down moment. About 20 minutes. I'm tired today. Nice ball, Rashford. I like the passing's a lot better. I wanna. Don't forget we're sponsored by Surfshark. Scan the QR code. Oh, mistake by Casemiro. Well in by Martinez. I want to see what our pass completion like is. 90%. Look at that, 90%. 70% the last couple of games. That's a lot better. 90% pass completion rate. I know we've only had 10 minutes, but the last couple of games it's been down 70%. The passing's been a lot better in this game. And oh look, what's on my shoulder? The Europa League ball. Anthony needs to play the simple pass, says Kaelin. The ball just gets stuck under his feet. Look again. Twice there, he just loses control of the ball. I tell you, I know Anthony from Ajax, and I've never seen him for Ajax with the ball getting stuck under his feet as much as it does at United. He's offside there. That's miles off. It's not just tonight. The ball gets stuck under his feet all the time. Maybe that's why he does the fidget spinner thing. Get it under control. I mean, I'm joking, but how can you have a player that's signature move is the spin, but when he's not spinning, he can't control it? Confidence must be low, says Nip. Hello, Mark. Who do you think has the bigger chance to win the Europa, Arsenal or United, says Mohammed? Well, we should have the better chance because Arsenal can't risk taking it too seriously. I mean, Arsenal can't be picking their best team on a Thursday when they've got a Premier League game on the Sunday, because they're going to have to win every Premier League game to stop Man City on paper. So you'd have to say United have got a better chance because we will probably pick a stronger team, but that doesn't mean that will happen. Here we go. Oh, Bruno's not going to win that. Oh, lovely play there though. Good play in the midfield by Betis here. Do you think Anthony might be trying to do too much to Stephen? Simplify your game. Yeah, I know what you mean. He was told to do that a few weeks ago, though, and he got better. Avery's got faith in Anthony. Oh, so have I. I like Anthony, but you've got to acknowledge that he's going through a bad patch at the moment. Good start by United, but there will be periods of the play where Betis have the ball, and they're certainly doing that the last couple of minutes. Nice switch of the play. Oh, that's not good. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Man United leading 1-0 through Rashford. Did have a goal offside ruled out, but nothing really doing from Betis so far in the first 12 minutes. Be nice to get a good 2 or 3-0 win to take to Spain, really. Remember, this is, you know, I know people are obsessed about this 7-0 result, but back to business. This is only half time at full time, so we want to. Here's Anthony, good play. Still, he's got no. Oh, he's done well. No, and then he loses it. Thank you, Mark, for the United stand, for letting me watch football with you. I'm not alone on this cold Thursday night, says IC. Thank you, pal. Unable to send super chats for some reason, says Wackass. For funny thing, YouTube. Daniel says, Mark, can you just feel the lads were dying for this game tonight? Feel like we're kicking every ball with them, says Daniel. And Rashford's world's best player, says El. I have seen the Mason Mount rumours, Stephen. Look, it's so weird, it could be true. I wouldn't think Mason Mount would be a Man United target, but I like Mason Mount. I think under Ten Hag or Klopp, he'd be a decent player. But it's a weird one. Memory might be playing up, but weren't we linked to this Carvalho in the midfield years ago? Maybe the year Bruno's boat sank, says Joshua. We've been linked to Willem Carvalho for about a decade. I don't know how old he is now, but it's probably not a decade, but many years. Lovely pass by Bruno there, but Fred can't control it. Betis win it back. I'll tell you what, Bruno's had a good start. Philip, what positions are attackers in? Weghorst is playing 9 all the time. Bruno's really all over the place. I'm just going to tweet about Bruno there, but he's been everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Certainly, look, every player had to relax. Every player had to react. And you can really see that emphasised in Bruno's performance tonight. He's been absolutely everywhere. I got sent a video from a friend of Henry, Gallagher and Richards taking the piss out of Schmeichel and calling Erik Ten Hag, Seven Hag. These guys are adults, says Jack, the Scottish lad. I mean, I've not seen the clip, but, if Carragher and co are taking the piss out of Man United and calling him Seven Hag, I mean, Martinez has been one of the best signings of the season. He had one terrible game, and, Carragher thinks he's a bloody genius because he said that Martinez wouldn't survive in the Prem. That's not punditry. That's playground behaviour. We're better than that. Do I think that Anthony will settle in, says Pro? I do, because I think Ten Hag will make sure that he gives him absolutely every opportunity to. I mean, like I say, Sancho will probably think I should be playing over Anthony tonight, and maybe he should be, but Ten Hag didn't buy Sancho, he bought Anthony, so it's going to be in his interest. That's a bad foul on Fred, It's just gone through the back of him. Stay down, Fred. Low key, thanks for your super chat. Nice ball into Rashford. Back into Shaw. Cross is good. That's a goal. That would have been a great goal. Weghorst on the front post. At least we're putting crosses into Weghorst. I think Weghorst had more crosses into the box tonight than he's had in the last 2 months. Maybe Weghorst should score this. I think he probably should. I honestly think they've played better stuff than us in the first 15. One touch, great movement, but they just don't have the quality we do, says Nate. I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Nate. We see this a lot with Spanish sides. We saw it with Sociedad. I mean, Sociedad only beat us at Old Trafford because of a dodgy penalty. But what you tend to see with a lot of La Liga sides who don't have the wealth. Rashford, good keeping, Bravo. Rashford sprinted through, but Bravo got there. What you tend to see with a lot of La Liga sides that aren't Real Madrid and Barcelona, because they're not particularly wealthy, they tend to be really good possession-based, organised footballing sides. But they tend to not be great at scoring goals. Most of them don't tend to have really good strikers. Stephen, thank you very much for your super chat. They're allergic to scoring, says Erland. It's been a problem for Spanish football for years. Really good technical sides, but they can't put the ball in the back of the net consistently. Weghorst's shot was blocked by the Betis player and it changed direction, so Sebastian should have been a corner. What's your best United moment? Mine was always talk about the 99 final. Thanks for the content, says Faroe Islands. And Mark Veghorst's shot was on target. It got deflected. Thank you very much. I didn't see that angle, Sebastian. Well, all I was saying is he should have scored it, but I didn't see the deflection. I presume because it was given a corner. It wasn't given as a corner. There wasn't one. Nice ball by Bruno. Rashford should have had that. He just got lost underneath it. Anthony needs to learn to cross with his right foot, says Top Bins Football. They're missing Fekir. Says 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just pure power by Rashford, isn't it? Roofed it. I know it's a cliche, but Anthony is so one-footed, it's predictable. He still has chances, though. Imagine if he had the balance, says Jonathan. He needs to go and study Arjen Robben. Darren, thanks for your super chat. 20 minutes gone. Sorry, I will be stretching a lot tonight. I've got a bit of a shooting pain in my left leg, which is, I think they call it sciatica or something, don't they? But, yeah. Not great. Scooby-Doo. Ooh, yeah. Scooby-Doo. Nice ball by Casemiro. Now, here is Anthony with a bit of space. Hi, Mark. Carragher on Sky Sports with his Premier League medals next week with Coke Zero, says Anthony Jenkins. And United are on the front foot, but they need to score again before they begin to take the foot off the gas, says Stephen. Here's Varane. Nice ball out to Delo. United playing some lovely football right now. I feel Betis were hoping for another win like in December, but there is still 70 minutes to go, says Slow Sports News. John says, let's get 4 or 5. I think Betis are getting really disrespected. They're not the sort of team that's going to get beat 4 or 5-0 unless we do an absolute... something that, we don't tend to beat teams 4 or 5-0 either. Need a win tonight. A bounce back is what we need, says Bradley. Good play there against Rashford. He defended well. Our momentum and desire seems to be dwindling, says Jonas. My old school was opened by Sir Alex himself, which is quite amazing, says Logan. Megs. Luke Shaw just got Megsed. Joel says, didn't Liverpool have a 7-0 loss? I think they got beat 7-2, didn't they, by Villa? I don't really care. Ark says, it looks like United want to end the game in the first leg. Well, that's the idea, yeah, definitely, when you're the home side. Sebastian said, Veghorst's shot was blocked by the Betis player and it changed direction. Thanks for that, mate. Would you take Thuram on a free as our backup number 9? Ten Hag style of play is more reliable than Martial. Look, Robble, I'd have Thuram right now because we don't really have anybody who can play up front other than Veghorst. So I'd take him right now. But, in the summer, you'd hope that we can get better than that. But of course I'd take him right now. We can't, though. United have got a big advantage, says Ethan, being at home. Yeah, but we won't have that advantage next week. So, it'll be a different game in Spain. But I'd want to take more than a 1-goal lead over there. The channel grows. Will we see more watch-alongs with other members of the United stand in the studio or without you? As much as that pains me with the rest of the team, they've really grown on me, says Casey. I do like the forums I like the fan forums after the game. I really do. So we'll have to wait and see. Thoughts on the Arsenal game, says it's Louis. I didn't watch it. And the sit down as a podcast name, you as well as the listeners in their cars will be sitting down, and it's something you say often, says NYYK. Oh, I like that one. Welcome to the Members Club, Darren Hudson. I actually had a meeting about the podcast today. hopefully going to film a pilot in the international break. Got a busy international break though, because we're going on tour. Period of Betis possession here. Intercepted by Martinez. We need to get a bit of possession here. "23 minutes gone. There was a bit of a shout for a handball here. They're just going to play it back. No, never. Weghorst on the shoulder. That's not a handball. I mean, in Europe it's a little bit different, but that's not a handball. Good interception by Varane. Oh, De Gea's just booted it for a throw-in. That's terrible. That's getting clipped, David. Don't worry about all the world-class saves you do. That's getting clipped. Beth's going to love that, says MD. "I feel Harry Maguire is off to PSG," says Radical. That's never going to happen. Good play by Luke Shaw. Go on, Anthony, make the bloody run. Rashford's on the right-hand side. Back. Go on, Bruno's there. What a ball by Bruno. Into Fred. Into Rashford. Cross. Anthony tries to control it with his right foot. Wasn't too bad, but they still clear it. Good interception by Luke Shaw. And yeah, the pass was onto Delo there. Well spotted. Fred, first time, could have just flicked it into Delo. Cal says, "Is Bruno playing as an 8 and Fred as a 10? They are interchanging a lot. They are interchanging a lot. Aston wants a shout out. One of the reasons I don't like pundits is they act like children arguing instead of being professional. Also, the thumbnail is wrong, says Jack. And it's not. I think it's just YouTube. Like my thumbnail is absolutely this is right. Watchalong, Marcus Rashford, and a Betis player. YouTube's weird sometimes. It does display a different thumbnail. Some people have got Salah and Liverpool, but in our back system and on my homepage, it's got the right one. That's a... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Timo Weghorst. Timo Weghorst. And it would have been an Anthony assist as well. Oh, my God. Right. Anthony crosses with his right. He's offside anyway. He's offside. Don't worry about it. Anthony finally puts a cross in with his right, and then Weghorst misses a sitter. But he didn't know he was offside. But he was offside. Good job he's offside. We won't moan about it. Mark, we are one of the largest whiskey podcasts in the USA and heard in another 70 countries. Would be an amazing honour to have you on the show sometime. I'd love to come on. Bourbon with friends. I would love to come on. Absolutely love it. Get me on. Of course the cross was his left. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Of course it was with his left. He's on the left-hand side. It's because... Oh, it's a lovely cross by Anthony again. Get him on the left. Get Anthony on the left. He's got a lovely cross on him. Don't know why he doesn't do the inverted cross from the right. Oh no, De Gea. Well up short. Here we go. 3 against 3. 4 against 3. Anthony slips it into Rashford. Go on, Weghorst. Back to Bruno. Now. Bang. Corner. I don't think people would get on to Anthony as much if he just commits. The one time he took a player on, he had everyone on their feet, confidence, and working on that right foot, and he'll come good. I agree, Casey. You know, rest in peace, Mystic Meg died today apparently, says Nick P. Yeah, she didn't see that coming. That's not a bad joke actually, because I've heard loads of people doing that joke today. But you know, she was 80 years old. 80's not bad. Do you think Chelsea can win the Champions League? Says Yash. Anything can happen. Not sure what to say about Veg, says Slow Sports News. Can you remember Mystic Meg, actually? She used to do the National Lottery and she'd go, tonight, women called Brenda and people living in a house with the number 12 will be successful too. She used to do that. She used to be like an owl. She used to go, too. It's all bollocks anyway, isn't it? That is all bollocks. You know, all these... what was the other one? That Scouser. Ronnie Ancona. No, she was the comedian. Still is. I don't think she's dead. I think her career's died. Derek Zakaria. No, that's Dennis Zakaria. You know who I mean. What was the name? He used to speak to the ghosts on Most Haunted and all that. This is turning into That's Football now for a United game, which was not a good thing. I can't remember what his name was. Anyway, it's all a load of bollocks, mystic nonsense, and I speak to dead people. Especially, the people who did it on TV. They must know they're lying. Either that, or they do, you know, need to be on medication, really. I'm a cynic. I don't think it's true because it doesn't make any sense to be true. I mean, where did Mystic Meg get her information from? Who's telling her? Meg. The people who win the lottery are going to be called Donna, and they'll have an affinity with the word 12. I tell you what, if Mystic Meg was still doing the National Lottery this week, you know, you can guarantee a United fan's going to win something. So I'd go, your favourite colour's red, but you hate the number 7. You're bound to get somebody who wins it, aren't you? I think it's just about playing the percentages, being clever. She was basically an early day statistician. You know, how many people are called Gary? You know, bound to be someone who wins it. Anyway, let's get back on the game. It's not That's Football, Alvito, you're right. Good play by Rashford into Bruno. I think Bruno's been brilliant this half, by the way. I mean, there's been a few decent performances, but I think Bruno's been really good. Betis are on the attack, though. They've not really had a chance yet. People who aren't watching United stand, they're definitely missing out. Cheers, Mark. Goal! Xander. I've done it again. They've not really had a chance, and they've scored. Guess which side it comes from again? The left-hand side. I remember Septic Peg, says Robert McCormack. The Betis fans are going crazy. It's the guy who used to play for Leicester, isn't it? Well, that's a handball. That's a handball. That's a handball. That's a handball in the build-up. That's a handball. That's not a goal. Handball, no goal. It's a very good finish, but that's a handball in the build-up. That'd be a bloody disgrace if that gets given. Varane sees it. It's a handball. I mean, Luke Shaw's been pulled in. It's a really good goal, but he controls it with his arm. That's a handball. Be a disgrace if they give this. What a goal. It's a brilliant finish. He's given the fucking goal. Oh, for fuck's sake. What's the point? What's the point? He controls it with his bloody arm. What is the point? It runs down his arm. Fucking hell, I'm fed up of this. They give a penalty against Martinez because it deflects off his knee onto his arm. And then a guy controls it with his arm and they don't give it. That's ridiculous. They haven't even checked it. Surprise, surprise. No, go back and show the handball. Fucking jokers. He uses his chest, but if you've never played the game, you can't get involved in the chat. I'm sorry. I've played the game. Like, if you've never played the game, you don't know what I'm talking about. He can't stop that without using his arm. He controls it with his chest, and part of his arm is stuck out to stop it rolling off that way. If you haven't played the game, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I don't want to pull rank, but watch it back. He controls it with his chest, and he has the bit of his arm there to stop it. Otherwise, it's going to go that way. Watch it back. I'm telling you now. It's a clear handball. But again, VAR hasn't got a bloody clue. I know he catches it with his chest, but he's got a bit of his arm to just stop it. Look. My chest is there, but there's a bit of arm sticking out to stop it. That's what he's done. Fucking jokers. I can't believe that. In the Premier League, that's a handball. Because they know they would never, ever, ever, ever not... They would never give that in the Prem. Knobheads. Where are these referees from? Specsavers. They bloody need to go there. What a kick in the nuts that is. This ref's shit. Absolute shit. Look, I'm not being harsh. It's a very, 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 very good finish by Perez. Nothing De Gea can do. Not really going to blame anybody. It's a look, somebody probably should be marking him, but the goal was really good, and it'd be horrible to take it away from Betis. But I'm sorry, there's a handball in the build-up. Hit the chest, then after it clearly hits the left arm, deflects the ball in the passage of the ball. That's what I'm talking about, Luke. He controls it with his chest, but because he's got his arm there, it sort of provides a little alleyway for it to roll down. Watch it back at half time. I'm all for debates, and I know there's a lot of people who don't want it to be a handball because they can't stand Man United, but I'm telling you now, if that's against your team, you're shouting handball, because it is a handball. I tell you what, if Veghorst did that, I'd say it's... I tell you what, I'm so convinced it's a handball. If that had gone the other way, I'd desperately want it to be a goal, but I'd say it's going to get ruled out. I'm stunned it didn't get ruled out. Let me just say that. Hit his chest, exactly, and then went down his arm. Thanks, Luke. How was Martinez a handball when he played? Here we go, watch. It's there. It's clear as day. It's clear as day. It goes down his arm. It's so clear. It's so clear. They've just played it back. It does exactly what it says on the tin. I just said that. He controls it and it drops down his arm. It provides when you're bowling, and there's the little alleyways that guide it down. He's just done that. He's got the bloody barriers up. He's pressed that button to put the barriers up so he can still hit the balls. Raul says, how was it Martinez a handball when we played Real Sociedad? Exactly. It's a joke. You're right, Mark. If you control with your chest, it will bounce away, says Umzik. Well, it's clear as day. For me, there are 4 players in this team that aren't up to standard. Delo, Fred, Anthony and Veghorst. I'll give Anthony a pass for the season, but Ten Hag needs to protect him a bit, says Sean Turner. Ekram says that De Gea should have saved that. Mate, you don't know goalkeeping, mate. You haven't got a bloody clue. Don't let your agenda run away with you because it makes you look an idiot. Lovely kick by De Gea. Veghorst actually flicks it on, but Anthony can't get it. You can't save that. He's hit it with the outside of his foot in the bottom corner with curl. It's bending out and in. It's a brilliant finish. I'm not having that. No goalkeeper saving that. But it's a handball. Agree on the handball, but we are not creating enough up front. Like that, Anthony is putting more crossing, but not enough in the boxes, Andrew O'Brien. I saw that again. The player deliberately sticks his arm out to guide the ball off his chest, as Stephen. I don't think people had seen the angle I saw. Anthony's out his depth, says Herman. Well, in a way, it might not be a bad thing because, you go 1-0 up, you think, oh, everything's okay. I'd personally say this is not a bad thing because Frank says it was 100% on purpose. It's disgusting. Look, I don't mind the referee on the pitch not seeing it, but why is VAR not seeing it? It's a disgrace. But it might not be a bad thing for United because they've started the game, they've got an early goal. They probably think, oh, look at us, we're working hard, we're putting the result right. But Betis are a good side. And now it's 1-1 and you've got to work for 90 minutes. Is that not the whole point? We were all right in the first half. To be honest, I don't mind this at half-time because it's the second half that was the problem at Anfield. They said it on the commentary that because the next touch didn't score is the reason VAR didn't give it. Rubbish interpretation of the rule, that is. Alan, I don't even understand that rule because in the Premier League they go back and say it was a handball in the build-up. It's like a foul 10 seconds before the goal. They'll go back and give the foul in the Prem. What stupid rule is that? So you can handball it as long as you're not the person who scores. That's nonsense. That's an absolute nonsense. We do miss Eriksen, Christopher Day. Someone said it before the game. He's massively underrated. The penalty for Sociedad, no red card against Barca, and now this one. 3 dodgy decisions against Spanish opposition. Is it a coincidence, says Kia? I just think, to be honest with you, we're not well liked. They don't like the Premier League. So you can give us a German ref, you can give us a Belgian ref, you can give us a Swiss ref, you can give us whatever ref you like. They do not like the Premier League. That's why these decisions keep happening. Dodgy. It's nothing to do with Spanish teams, it's dodgy. The Sociedad penalty was never a pen. The Rashford red card should have been a red, and that is a blatant handball. It's happening too often, people. It's like Thierry Henry against Ireland. Exactly, Frank. It's not as bad as that, to be fair, but it's not far off. It's a good mentality test, I agree, though. They coursed into Rashford. Go on, go on, go on. Oh, cut back to Anthony, and then it ends up in the keeper's arms. A big missed call, but it doesn't make up for the missed chances at their end. We need to bury the ball in the back of the net, says Marco. And it's really stupid rule, but it was the same last season in the game versus Huddersfield. The one giving us the assist stopped it with the hand. But you can't have... Bury... I don't understand this rule. So basically, I can handle it as long as I don't score. That's not football. That's not football. That's ridiculous. Bourbon says, have you seen La Liga is now being investigated for a match fixing scheme? Just came across my ESPN app. I don't take any notice of La Liga. Oh my God, what is De Gea doing? What is De Gea doing? I've got, even I've got to say De Gea's distribution is terrible tonight. It's rubbish. It's terrible. Like, even I, who love De Gea, have got to say, I don't know what he's doing. I don't normally have a massive problem, really. But tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if Ten Hag subs him off. Like, it's shocking. Paul, thank you very much for becoming a member. We lost to Middlesbrough. I think that was the same thing, says Robert McCormack. Daniel, thanks for your super chat. Varane. Well, they probably don't know in the ground, but we know at home. As much as Betis are a good side, you can't take away from the fact that the one chance they've had was the goal, and there was a handball in the build-up. And people can moan about United's performance, but the reality is they haven't had, that's the one chance they've had. Good play by Varane. You're wrong. Chelsea robbed Dortmund, says Mohammed. What's that got to do with anything? How does Weghorst get that amount of game time when Sancho and Sabitzer don't get any? Well, Sabitzer's injured. Paul Davis, welcome to the Members Club. 1 minute of added time here. Good play by Fred. Delo. It's not a bad cross, Here's Rashford. Bruno on the edge. Luke Shaw. Come on, still got a chat. Whip it, Luke. Whip it, whip it. Good cross, good cross. No, it's not. Edge of the box. Damn it. Damn it. Good play here by Betis. They're on the attack. 20 seconds to go of the first half. Well done, Martinez. That's a goal kick. He's given a corner. Cameron says, are we playing well? I wouldn't say we're playing well, but I don't think we deserve to be going in at 1-1. At what point do we start to worry about Sabitzer? Can't get a look in the first team. Surely his creativity and passing could help. He's not fit, Alec. And VAR was brought in to eliminate inconsistencies. Now the people who operate VAR are being inconsistent. You know what, Pat? I'm going to talk about it half time, but that's what really grinds my gears. How am I seeing it on the second replay that it's a handball? Like, people were arguing with me saying it's not a handball. I said it is. I'd only seen it twice. And then people see 3 and 4 and they go, yeah, you're right. Thank you. But VAR can watch it 10 times and they've not even done anything about it, because apparently there's a rule where you can handball it. I don't get it. I do not get it. Anyway, it's half time. Manchester United took an early lead with Marcus Rashford, but it's 1-1. You've got to pick your heads up here, lads. It's not been a great half of football. There's been lots to discuss, but at the end of the day, there's also a massive, massive injustice there, which makes no sense to me. But it's 1-1 at half time. Let's have a quick look at the stats before we get into your opinions. Let me pause it on there for a moment. So, look, first half, we started off quite well for 10 minutes. They've had one shot on target, and that's the goal. And the goal shouldn't stand. So as much as people want to say Man United haven't played that well, we've had more possession. Our pass accuracy is up at 84%, which is a lot better than what it's been for the last 2 games. We've had 4 shots on target. I mean, and it's 1-1. You look at that statistically, and, we're not, Betis are a good possession side. We've had more possession. We've had more shots. We've had 4 times as many shots on target, and the one shot they've had on target shouldn't have been allowed because it was a bloody handball. So, look, I still think there's a hangover from the game against Liverpool. And I think there's a hangover in the fan base, which is completely and utterly normal. But I do think that people are going overboard, because that's not a bad performance against the team that people want to disrespect. Betis are a good side. That's not a bad half from Man United. We should be winning 1-0. We're not winning 1-0 because, unfortunately, for the second time this season at Old Trafford against Spanish opposition, VAR has had an absolute shocker, which we'll see in a minute when it's on the screen. Brave to start the same team but need fresh energy, says Chris. Much love to yourself in the United Stand, says Dan. German refs are the worst. Have to deal with them every week. You wouldn't believe how bad they are, says Jacob. And Bourbon's just gifted 5 memberships. You're a legend, mate. Thank you very much. Herman says that Anthony's out of his depth. Well, look, I want to talk about this handball, which is going to come on our screen in a minute. But for me, somebody said that there's some stupid rule that if you handball it but you're not the one who scores, it's allowed to stand. I mean, I do not know what that's all about, because that's ridiculous. I don't get that. So I can catch it, throw it to someone, and then they can score and it's not a handball. Explain that rule to me. But 100%, you can see the player, he puts his arms like this, the ball's coming in. I've even got a ball. I've got an Europa League ball. This is exactly why I've got it, right? So, here we go. Here I am. Ball comes in. Let me show you your angle. What's the best? This one. Okay. So ball comes in, and this is what he does. He goes to control it with his chest, which he does, but it's going to spin off that side of his body out the way. So what he does is he controls it with his chest, and then it hits his arm and rolls down. The ball does something it can't do. It's coming from this direction, and it's going to go that direction. Or if you chest it, you might be able to do it, but the only way you're going to stop it and make it drop in front of your feet perfectly is basically off your chest, like there's my chest, I'm going to do that. I'm going to move my arm like that, and I'm going to control it, and then it's going to hit my arm and come down, and that's exactly what's happened. And that, my friends, is a handball. It's as simple as that. He's controlled it with his chest, but he's left his arm out a little bit so that it can roll down like that. Old Man United fans like me will know we used to have a striker who was brilliant at this. His name was Mark Hughes. He'd control it in his chest and basically catch it with his arms. Anywhere on the pitch, that's a handball. Why wasn't it called? Says Tony. And the disgrace for me is the referee on the pitch can miss that, but VAR can watch it 3 times from 3 different angles and see it's a handball every time. Mr. Sedo, welcome to the Members Club. And look, stop crying about handball. We've been poor, says QWERTY. I was literally about to say the same thing. I don't think we've been as poor as you think we have, by the way. And I know... But that doesn't justify it, mate. I'm sorry. We could have been... It doesn't justify it. It doesn't matter how bad we've been. It's still a handball. It doesn't matter how good we've been. It's still a handball. You know, a bad decision isn't okay just because we've not played as well as you'd like. And it's not a terrible decision if you've played well. It's a bad decision all the time. The rules are the rules. Unger says, Anthony wastes so much possession. I can't stand it. Love the player, but he just can't hack it at this level. Kevin says, Anthony frustrates me as a player. One trick pony, always slows down the play, stopping to switch to left. Sancho deserves a chance, says Kevin. Has nothing to do with us not taking our chances. Veghorst says, give it to Mikey. Look, as much as we want to respond, I think De Gea's had an absolute nightmare. Probably the worst game I've seen him play this season. Absolutely dreadful. I know people get on about him, about his distribution, and I do worry about whether that's starting to get in his head. So well done if you're constantly having a go at him, because I've never seen him distribute as bad as that this season. Anthony, as you said, doesn't look great. I mean, Veghorst's had a few chances. He's just not particularly quick. Yeah, look, I mean, as much as I don't want, the jumper's a bad omen, Mark. Well, I'm trying to make it a good omen, coolness. Anthony looked better on the left, leave him there. He did look better off the left, Daniel, because he can naturally cross then. Rashford at 9 and put Sancho on the right. I'd like to see that, Daniel. Coaching with Goldbridge, says Liam. And Ross Chapman, welcome to the Members Club. We simply haven't improved since last game. Loads of missed chances and failed to passing out from the back is unforgivable, says Frederick. Well, we have improved. The Delo hate is insane. What's Wan-Bissaka meant to do, says MGT. I haven't noticed a massive problem with Delo. I must have missed that in the chat. I must have a, Delo filter on. I noticed it on Sunday. There is a problem in our fan base with some people. They just get absolutely locked in on a certain player hate. And unfortunately, at the moment, it seems to be Delo. But I don't know what Delo's done wrong in that half, to be honest with you. I know he's been forward a few times and he's been tackled, but I haven't noticed him be a problem. And yet again, the goal is a handball anyway, so it's not like we've conceded because of him. I'm just waiting for them to show it on the telly here, but Weghorst is incredibly bad at timing when receiving crosses. And I hate the Anthony hate in our fan base so much, says Lance. Look, I like Anthony. I do like Anthony. And, you know, I like De Gea and I like Dalot. But you have to call it out when they're not playing well. And Anthony at the moment is struggling. There is no doubt about that. You know, I don't really have a massive problem if Wan-Bissaka starts today and Dalot doesn't. I don't think there's, you know, massive justification not to pick Wan-Bissaka, but I trust the manager. You know, the team isn't playing as well as it has done. There's no doubt about that. But I'll also defend the team that it's very difficult to it's very difficult for them to be expected to brush. I just think people have got this game completely wrong. Like, Betis are a good side and people are acting like we're playing Kidderminster at home and we should beat them 6-0. If football was that easy that you just need to turn up and work hard and you win 6-0, we'd win 6-0 every week. Yes, we've got to respond to Liverpool, but responding by beating a team like Betis 4 or 5-0 is very, very unlikely. We keep getting in good positions, and once the ball lands on Fred's boot, that's it. Either way, Milton, you know what? If we had a fit Anthony Martial, we'd probably be winning 2 or 3-0. I think Weghorst is too slow for the way we want to play, but he gives everything, doesn't he? Mark, your criticism of Weghorst has gotten into his head. Well done, says Emmanuel. I don't criticise Weghorst. Stephen, welcome to the members club. I literally would agree with what LJ says. Weghorst works hard and could be slow if he can get the right positions, but he just can't finish. I think he works hard. He's just too slow, LJ. That's not abuse. Andy Carroll single-handedly ruined our midfield, says Sakin. And we can't seem to press from the back under press, says Salim. You know the great thing about this? I'm watching it on BT, and they're talking about the goal. Here we go. It goes down his bloody arm. He actually puts his arm out to let it roll down it. I can't believe that decision. I can't believe it. His arm's out. Look, it rolls down that part of his arm. You can see it. I mean, look on the slow-mo. How can you not give a handball? It rolls down it. And they've got that angle. It's that bit of the arm there. It rolls down that muscle. He's got it locked. Bloody hell. And on slow-mo, it's even worse. I can't believe it. Jarvis says he actually doesn't think it's a handball. Jarvis, you know these things, they're really good. They help your eyes work better. Mate, if you can't see that rolls down there, you know, you're never going to catch your partner cheating, mate. If you're the partner of Jarvis, crack on. He ain't never going to see it. But no, seriously, that's your arm, mate. This bit of your arm, that's your arm. Not your hand. That's handball. There, look, that's a handball. That's a handball. That's a handball. There, that's a handball. It's a handball, mate. That's a handball. I'm not even entertaining anybody else saying it's not a handball. We're not doing a poll because it's like somebody saying, I can't even think of something that's obvious. It's like somebody saying Spurs have won a trophy in the last 10 years. They haven't. Look at Wikipedia. Look at their trophy cabinet. They haven't. They have. Let's do a poll on it. No, they haven't. It's a fact. And it's a fact that that's a handball. Mark Bosnich is baffled why it wasn't called handball. Well, I mean, look, I don't know whether Mark Bosnich's opinions are good or not, but person says it's a handball, person is right. Like, I love debates and I love polls and I love everything like that, but I can't bring myself to get into a debate about it because there is no debate. It hits that part of his arm. That's a handball. Mark, anyway, Don, thank you very much for your super chat. Heard the news today that the Glazers are not selling. No, I've not heard that. Glazers out. Well, look, but at the end of the day, we're not going to change it. It is what it is. And in some ways, it might play into our hands because it was the second half against Anfield, second half at Anfield where we lost 6-0. So what Ten Hag is looking for is a second half performance anyway. So in some ways, it plays into our hands that it's still 1-1, 0-0, whatever you want to call it. We're still drawing, and we've got to go out there and win in the second half. What do you think about Anthony in the first half, says Stefan? I think that I like Anthony, but there's a problem. And look, he scored a goal against Barcelona in the last home game in the Europa League. So it's not like he's not, he scored a goal in his first 3 Premier League games. It's not like he's been a complete and utter, problem. He's struggling for consistency. There's an injury, there's a bad performance. He was dreadful against Liverpool, but so was everybody else. I think he'd benefit from simplifying his game when he gets it, but also be a bit more direct. The ball seems to get stuck under his feet. That's the problem. It seems to get stuck under his feet a lot. VAR ruled it out as Perez takes a touch and scores. If he scores without a touch, it would be ruled out. I don't get that, Kanishka. I mean, I don't disagree with you because you're not the first person to say that, but what? Can somebody explain to me why that rule would be made up? I mean, it obviously exists, but what we're getting is that because Perez controls it and shoots, it's not a handball. But if the handball and then shoots, it is a handball. I get that probably is the rule, but can somebody explain to me why it's a rule? Why? Ten Hag was laying down the gauntlet to the players to dig themselves out of the mess they'd created, says L. Polling the handball is like polling, are Man United wearing red? The colourblind may not see it, says MD. Exactly. Dan, welcome to the Members Club. I'm looking for a better response from United. Last match is still haunting me, says Mohit. Look, apparently there's a rule as to why it's not a handball, but can somebody explain to me why that rule exists? So you can handball it, but as long as the person who receives it after you takes a touch, it won't be a handball. Are we? So somebody's saying that guy literally could have caught it and then thrown it to Perez, who, as long as he takes a touch, he can shoot. It doesn't, you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. A handball, whether it hits you there or you catch it, is still a handball. So how can a handball be okay in certain circumstances? It makes no sense. Slow Sports News says, definitely handball. Europa just wants a dramatic second game if it finishes in a draw. Anthony just needs time and to find himself, says Slow Sports News. Rule clearly says handball unless it's against Man United, says Kia. I mean, look, I'm if that's the rule, I don't understand it. And sometimes, sometimes I think, I'm trying to think of a rule in football that makes sense to me, but I don't know. VAR is not designed to overrule every ref decision, says Lip. But in the Premier League, if Southampton score against us at the weekend, right, and James Ward-Prowse pulls Fred's shirt on the halfway line, and then Southampton play 3 passes and 10 seconds later they score, VAR would tell the referee to go and have a look at the shirt pull on the halfway line. So, I don't agree with, referees are not there to look at every decision. That's a direct contributor to a goal. It's an assist, basically. United being immature is so true. They're so emotional in frantic game. The lack of control and management of games when they're not in the lead is slightly worrying, says Dylan. Real Betis tied Real Madrid, who won against Liverpool, who just won against us. So give him credit to Real Betis, needs to find the chances, says LJ. Could they try and be a little less obvious with their blatant bias, says Adam. Looks like Wan-Bissaka's coming on at half-time, by the way. So looks like, anyone who doesn't like Delo, he'll be quite happy. Totally agree, Mark. Not only was it handball, but play also controlled the ball off his hand, says Christoph. Look, that's quite a strong part of your arm. That inside of your wrist there. If a ball hits it, it's stopping. There's bone there. It's stopping. If the ball doesn't hit that part of his arm, he ain't controlling it. It's as simple as that, and that's not right. But look, it is what it is. We've got to move on. Very frustrating, says Christian. Thanks for your super chats and your chats. Second half, there we go. Is it wrong? I'm still hurt over Sunday, Mark, says Mohammed. No. If you want to be, that's up to you. I'm more focused on this game now because I think we've been robbed, but you know, is what it is. We go again. Why does these rules just apply on our games, says Anagan? Makes no sense to me. The thing that makes me laugh the most is I can see the chats. I'm not going to read you out because I'm actually quite, you know, experienced at this. I know there's people in the chat trying to go, it's definitely a handball, Mark, because you want a little bit of notoriety. You want to try and spark, you know, my frustration, which it won't happen because I'm already frustrated about a blatant handball. But the best thing is, you're probably a Liverpool fan or an Arsenal fan or a Stoke fan. And if it happened to your club, you'd be saying the same as me. So I've already won because there's no way if that happens to Arsenal or Liverpool at the weekend, you'd sit there and go, well, it happened to United at the weekend and I thought it wasn't a handball, so you're absolutely right. I mean, imagine if that goal cost Liverpool the title. And that's not going to happen, they're not going to win it. Imagine if a goal like that cost Arsenal the title. Do you think the Arsenal fans trying to wind us up now would go, well, to be fair, I don't think it was a handball. You know, even though he's clearly stopped the ball and controlled it with his arm, it wasn't. I never wanted to win the Premier League title anyway. I wouldn't, you know, it's not a handball. It's just people trying to wind you up. So that I wouldn't even read it and I wouldn't even take any notice of it. It's 100% a handball and it's another decision in the Europa League, the Old Trafford, to do with a handball that's an absolute disgrace. The Martinez one against Sociedad was disgusting. To give a handball when he blocks it with his leg and it flicks up onto his arm was disgusting. That's disgusting as well. Second time, both of them are appalling. Wan-Bissaka on for Delo. Let's see what happens in the second half. Apparently some of you've got the thumbnail with Salah on it. I don't know what YouTube's doing tonight. It's probably a glitch in your cache or something like that, because I can confirm to you on my homepage and on my YouTube on my phone and in the back system, it's always been Rashford and a Betis player as the thumbnail. So I don't know. It must be, you know, there are a few people who've got that problem, but it's not what we've got as the thumbnail, and we've never had it as that thumbnail. So I don't know why it's doing that for you. Yeah, look, it's on my phone. There's a fire somewhere in my heart. Here's Luke Shaw, come on. Yeah, look. Somebody was saying about Wan-Bissaka. Don't forget Surfshark. Links in the description. You can scan the QR code as it goes round. Get 3 months free with the virtual private network. Fantastic bit of kit. 83% off after that. Protects your identity when you're online. And if you're on holiday, something on the other side of the world, and you want to pretend you're in London to use your UK Netflix or whatever, it works really, really well. Yeah, Weghorst is a hard worker, and I like Weghorst, but he's too slow. He's too slow for this team. No doubt about it. He's too slow for a top four side. Jay, welcome to the members club. And you can see why Ten Hag uses him as a number 10. Because he'll be frustrated with him as a number 9. He's too slow. And that's not abuse. He's too slow. If we had a Thuram or a Martial, we'd be a better team because the opposition centre-backs would be far more concerned. They know they can sit there and book their hair appointment online and still catch him up. Like they're not worried about the ball in behind, and that's a problem. Thanks, Red Smurf. Let's talk about Fred's distribution. Pathetic, says Nathan T. Absolutely nowhere in the rules I just looked up does it say anything about players taking extra touches. It's bad officiating, says Yakov. It's Man United, so it won't get any focus. We'll get no sympathy from the rival fans, and we'll get no sympathy from Europe, but it's a disgusting decision. I mean, I want to move on from it, but it's massively unfair. Ethan, welcome to the Members Club. And Andy Cheatham says, Mark, ignore the people goading you. End of the day, their dollar is going into the United stand coffers. We can save up and buy the club. Yeah, I have to take a lot of streaming to do that, mate. A lot of streaming. Frank says, what a film that is. Can anyone remember that film, Father of the Bride, with Steve Martin? Frank. I need to watch that. It's an oldie, that, but I loved it. Loved that film. Where do I stand on Anthony, Frank? I love Anthony at Ajax, and I thought he was going to be a brilliant player for Man United. I don't recognise him at Man United. Like, his lack of control, this is not him. Like, I believe in him because I haven't seen him at United yet. Like, at Ajax, he'd cut in from the right and whip a cross in. Oh, yes! Clip it up! Clip it up! Clip it up! Clip that up! That's it! That's the one! That's the moment of the United stand season. Anthony has just cut in and whacked it in the top left-hand corner when I was just about to talk about what Anthony can do. Do I believe in Anthony? Yes, I bloody well do. Yes, I do. That's why I keep saying it. I haven't really recognised him in a Man United shirt. At Ajax, on that right-hand side, he'd cut inside, he'd shoot, he'd cut inside, he'd cross, he could control the ball, he could get past the player, he could do stuff like that. That's why I believe in Anthony. That's why I think he'll be a good player, and that's why I was excited about him. That's one of my FIFA Anthony goals. That is absolutely what he can do. It's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely superb. Anthony, what a hit. Oh, it's magnificent. What's Agbonglahor's Twitter? Oh, I've got it. I've tagged him. Retweet. It's on Twitter. That's what he's all about. That's what it's all about. On a serious note, the timing of that clip was brilliant, but it still stands true. And Frank, you're a legend of the chat, because Frank asked me, where do you stand on Anthony at the moment, about a minute before he scored. And what I was saying is, I don't recognise him, because at Ajax, I loved him, brilliant player off the left. He's just not the player yet. But things like that will help him. I mean, that's one of the goals of the season, that is. He's got such a cracking left foot. I think he will be a good player for United, but he's not there yet. But 7 goals this season. You know what? They slag him off all the time. The ex-pros, I've played the game FC. I've got a bloody clue what they're on about. You've never watched him play the game for Ajax. You just, that's what annoys me about players that come in from abroad. The ignorance to decide, I'm just going to judge him. I don't know anything about him, but I'm just going to watch him play for Man United. It's appalling punditry, because if you just watch Anthony in a United shirt, you haven't got a bloody clue what you're watching, because he's not been like what he's been like at Ajax. So for people like myself and most of you, we know what Anthony's like at Ajax. And he's not really been like that at Man United, but that's the buy-in. That's what we're waiting for. That's what we know the potential is, that goal, etc. But you get these experts saying, oh, he's crap. United, he's a dosser. He's a pantomime act. He's a circus act. And because they've never watched him play for Ajax. So they're just judging him in a Man United shirt. But, surely research is understanding what you're looking at. I'm a few seconds ahead of you, so I couldn't wait to hear your reaction, says Kevin. And I trained Anthony up to 5-star weak foot, and he's lethal in my career mode, says TJ. Just placed an order on Amazon for 1,000 fidget spinners. Am I doing this right, says Aman. Oh, I'm just so pleased for him. But you know what? I was thinking before Frank asked his brilliant question. Frank's going to be a legend of the United stand chat. What an assist. Garnacho should come to Chelsea, says Yash. My major concern in this game is that, obviously, we've got a second leg against Betis, and I don't want to not go there with something in the bank. Veghorst has been booked. Don't shout at this referee. He's crap, mate. He's rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. Lovely goal. He's got a wand of a left foot. You know, I haven't said wand of a left foot for a long time, but when he catches it right, this is what. I mean, it's not. I'm not saying he's Robban, but at the end of the day, he's got no. It's not a surprise, right? He's got no right foot because his left foot, when he hits it right, is like a wand. Well, confidence now. He just needs to get his confidence up. You know, be a bit more direct, etc. Good cross into the box there from Bruno. Can someone go slide tackle this ref? Says Sachin. Remember the handball against Sunderland last season? Mental decisions, says Football Maniac. Does Anthony have more goals this season than Grealish? Says Stephen. Maybe. Jay, thanks for gifting 5 memberships if we didn't say it, by the way. In all the melee. It's 3! And get in! It's Bruno! Oh, yes! 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 It's justice jam on toast. It's Bruno Fernandes. Those haters, they're getting sit down. Stop. They're already dead. Get in the bin. Look, we were humiliated. We were humiliated on Sunday. No United fan will deny it. But the outpour against that man was just pure bullying. Lies. Lies about wanting to come off. Lies about him being a negative influence. I'm so pleased he scored tonight because that's basically an up yours to everybody. Get in. That's my captain. That's Bruno Fernandes. That's a goal. And it's 3-1 and we've got a 2-goal gap now. But brilliant. So pleased for him to score because he's taken so much unfair criticism. I'm almost tempted to say sit down Gary Neville, but I'm sure he'll be very happy about that. Get in. My captain. Love it. Love it. That's a cracking scoreline for Manchester United. And you know what I'm going to do now? I'm still going to say it. I'm still going to say it. Still going to say it. We're 3-1 up. We've turned it round in the second half. That's the response we wanted to see. In some ways, the dodgy handball has played into our advantage because the fact that we've had to go from 1-0 up to 1-1 and then in the second half you've got to come out and play well, that's great for us because second half against Liverpool we were shite. So actually coming out in the second half and responding is great for us. You know what we need to do now? Half an hour to go, get the 4th goal, 3 goals up, we're through. This is where Liverpool did it really well on Sunday. No mercy. No mercy. Cobra Kai football. Go and get 4 or 5. Kill this tie and Betis hopes. That's what we've got to do. Go and kill the game now. I'll tell you what though as well, I'm still going to say it, it's still a handball, it's still a bloody disgrace, and it doesn't matter whether we're winning 3-1 or not, it's still a bloody disgrace. Don't let that decision, go just because of that. Here's Wan-Bissaka, he might shoot, good block, Anthony's got it, we're all over them at the moment. Anthony, cross comes in, keeper gets hold of it. Bruno pointed to the bench after scoring, Neville might think he's asked to come off, says Stephen. That's my captain. Shut up, haters, says Kelly. Bruno is our Portuguese Magnifico. I hate to focus on one player, but I think Wan-Bissaka made a difference, says Gambi. I don't know. I don't think one player's responsible for us being 3-1 up, but I think that'd be a bit unfair on the players that have played well. I mean, Bruno's had a really good game, I think. Have any pundits apologised or corrected themselves for wrongly accusing Bruno? No, they haven't, Stephen, and I think it's a disgrace. It's just, it's the old politician thing, isn't it? Just wait for it to die down. Why no apology? You're right. Get in, lads. So pleased for them. Smash this game. Make the tie rotation match, says SK. United need to learn ruthlessness. If we learn that, we will overcome our weaknesses. We need to understand momentum and finish them off, says KC. Well, there's a Betis player gone down here. I wouldn't be surprised if they review it for a penalty. Bruno's my captain. I have a tattoo on my arm, heavily inspired by his arm, says Eddie. And by the way, Bruno missed the exact header last game. Luke Shawcross was better this time, so pleased for them. Go on the lads, says SK. There's a Betis player gone down here. Arjun, welcome to the Members Club. I tell you what, we're feasting tonight. If you're an Anthony fan and a Bruno fan, the haters are in the mud. Let's have a look at this. It's a good tackle by Fred. And it's on the edge of the box anyway. Weghorst is a Man United player because of the Glazers, not his problem. We know his abilities. We'll never forget De Jong drama, says Disaster. Delo was, for me, before the World Cup break, one of the best players. But at the moment, Wan-Bissaka is better, says Dej. Here's a thought. Bruno into centre midfield and look for a top number 10. I play Bruno. I mean, look, it's only FIFA, but if anyone watches my FIFA career mode, I don't play Bruno at 10. I play him next to Casemiro. Sancho's coming on as well. Bradley, thank you and welcome to the Members Club. Lucy says, stop celebrating a win against Betis. Well, what? Stop celebrating a win against the team that's in 5th in La Liga in a European knockout tournament to get to the quarterfinals? I don't know what you're talking about, Lucy, because our standards have been in the mud for years. This is progress for us. Lovely play by Weghorst into Wan-Bissaka. Here's Anthony again into Bruno. Oh, go on! Oh, my God. He's made a right cock up there. Brilliant play. But Anthony should have just squared it. It's a sweat. This would have been a great goal. Anthony to Bruno, 1-2. He's onside. All he's got to do is square it to Fred. That should be game over. Bruno shushing the haters. Look, I like Anthony and he's playing with confidence. But that should be 4-1. That's tie over. There's plenty of time to kill it though. Betis are wounded. They're wounded here. PQ says, Lucy, get some joy in your life. Funny thing is, I predicted 3-0. And it should be 3-0. If it wasn't for dodgy refs. He's going to make a couple of subs here. Malacia and Sancho coming on. Probably thinking about Sunday. I didn't think Malacia was in the squad. Huzzy predicted 5-2. Could still happen, mate. Could still happen. See what happens when we don't do a short corner, says the Turbo Man. I've got my ticket and I'm coming to Manchester. See you there, Mark, says Darry. Looking forward to it, pal. Bradley, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Hey, come on. Let's not. People are criticising Anthony now because he didn't square it. Come on. You know, he's not got any confidence. Then he has got some confidence. Rashford's coming off. Good performance from Rashford. Luke Shaw's coming off as well. Yeah, give him some rest. That's rotation. That's rotation. Because the game's not gone. You've still got half an hour to go. 3-1 up against Betis. You're not throwing on Harry Maguire for the last 2 minutes. You know, there he is. Cheats. Boo. Maradona. The handball guy's going off. I think Sancho will go on the left. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right hand corner. You're very welcome on the United Stand. Live every night at 8 o'clock. 10 o'clock in the morning. Jay, thank you for joining the members club. Or gifted it, didn't you? Thank you. I've just retweeted that clip of me on the Anthony goal. Bruno's been my man of the match so far. Still a long way to go in this game, but I think he's had a brilliant captain's performance. I just want us to get the 4th goal now. You know, if you're Ten Hag, you're basically just saying to them, if you get one more goal, this game's over. Because, of course, if it's 3-1 in Spain, then... and they score an early goal, it's not over. So you want that 3rd goal, that 3rd goal gap. Anthony for Ballon d'Or says Sonic. Happy that we're playing better, but I cannot stand selfishness in the final third. Such an obvious square ball. Hope that doesn't come back to hurt us, says Alec. Yeah, that's another one. Controversial take. Anthony's goal masks mediocre performance. He needs more time with Benny McCarthy. Composure, simplicity, and it will come, says Casey. Well, look, you know, he should square it. I'm not going to criticise him for it because I want him to do well and we've got to build his confidence up. But I was saying that at half-time. He needs to simplify his game a little bit, really. I mean, Sancho should have passed here, by the way. Fred, shot. I'd rather lose 7-0 than to win nothing this season. Cling on to that because it's all you got, says Zeus. YT, I can't read it because it's rude. You know what though? What did I say about Spanish sides? Other than Real Madrid and Barcelona, they're like John Terry in a spelling test. They've got nothing up front, like nothing up top. Sorry, nothing up front. I don't think they've. Anthony hit. Shoot! Oh, he's giving a foul. Why is the referee pushing Bruno Fernandes? No, I love doing my bit for the channel. Glad to help out with memberships. Good game so far, I think. But judging by your reactions, Mark, I'm positive, says Jay. So Bruno's been booked now. I don't know why he's been booked. He's got every right to go for that. Oh, I don't know. Well, he doesn't go with his studs. He goes with a side foot, actually. I think if he'd gone with his studs up, it would be a red. But he's gone with a side foot. It is a yellow. If he'd have gone with his studs, it would have been a red. But he's gone with his side, so it's a yellow. I'll give him that. That's right. Look, from that angle, studs down. No, he's gone side-footed to try and win the ball. Then again, you know what? If it was the other way around, I'd probably say it was a red under here. We're allergic to scoring 4 under this manager, says Robert. Veghorst is the Maguire of strikers, says Tenderloin. Don't forget to check Surfshark out. Big shout out to them. You'll really enjoy trying that for 3 months. Links in the chat or scan the QR code. Trust me, you will like it. So give it a go. I really want this 4th goal. What I was going to say is, and hopefully it's going to come after Surfshark in a minute. What's the meaning of life? Says Wand. Here we go. This is what the meaning of life is. Looking at these stats. There. Look, they've had 1 shot on target and that was the dodgy goal. That's what I was trying to say about Spanish football. Apart from Real Madrid and Barcelona, they've got nothing up top. They're well organised teams and they're good at possession, but they've got no... Their only shot on target was the goal. Nice to see Sancho getting a bit of football anyway. Nice ball to Malacia. Into Sancho. These are the sort... I think Casemiro shoots from miles out over the bar. I think these are the sort of games that Ten Hag wants to bring Sancho on, when the game is sort of set where there'll be space to attack. I don't think he feels that he's capable of playing games from the start at the moment. Bournemouth Liverpool on Saturday. I tell you what, I laugh my tits off if Bournemouth beat Liverpool. They won't. So I think Liverpool are on the charge for fourth now, but it would be hilarious, wouldn't it? Beat United 7-0, then lose 1-0 to Bournemouth. Give the lads the rest now, says Prab. If it was a Premier League game, yes. But because there's a second leg, I would like to get the... This is a 2-0 lead in Spain. 2-0 leads are dodgy. They are dodgy. 3-0 leads, it's over. Rob has gifted 5 memberships. Cheers, pal. Arjan's given us a super chat as well. Thanks, pal. Go on, Anthony. Here we go. That's it. Simple ball into Bruno. He's overhit that, but Wan-Bissaka will get there. He hasn't overhit it at all. Good cross, edge of the box. Anthony will pick it up. Into Bruno. Nice ball. Bruno's been played very well today. Very measured performance, and Anthony a bit greedy there. That's something that's got to change, because Rashford likes to get the shot off, and Anthony likes to get the shot off. And if you're the number 9, you've got 2 wingers who like to get the shot off, you're never going to get any service. Good to see a positive second half reaction from the lads, taking control of our destiny again, says Florrie. Thanks, pal. Surfshark is a virtual private network, so VPN. So if you want to protect your identity online, basically say you're in London when you're in the USA and all that, that's what virtual private networks are for. Somebody else could probably explain it better than me, but that's it. I don't watch the soaps every night, Corey. Alex Yates, thanks for your super chat. Yeah, you get 3 months free. First 3 months free with Surfshark, and then 83% off. As much as we blame Anthony, Sancho should be challenging him as Aaron Wan-Bissaka does Delo. Fred is improving, but we miss Eriksson. We love Weghorst, but miss Martial. We are performing miracles as much as 7-0 hurts, as KC. I agree. You know, Weghorst is not a top 4 striker, and yet we're still winning games. Anthony isn't really being challenged, is he? Casemiro passing tonight has been magnificent, says Chiri. Player ratings will be out in a minute. I'll whack them in the chat. Mark just pointed out United have been playing tonight. Sorry, Joel says how they've been playing tonight. I've been pretty happy with United tonight. Some people weren't happy at half time. I felt that was because of the goal we conceded. Betis have had 1 shot, and it should never have been a shot because it was a handball. They're well organised. They're a good possession team, but they're like every other Spanish team that's not Barcelona and Real Madrid. They've got no goal threat. You know, Sociedad were the same. There's no goal threat. So the only shot they've had is the goal. So I don't think United played badly in the first half. I think we've got limitations. We've got a couple of players that wouldn't be in the team ideally, but they're working hard. Say what you will about Wout, but he's taken up some really dangerous positions. Unlucky not to have been found. Well, that's the problem, Caleb, isn't it? And iBit Lemon says, it seems like Ten Hag is managing Sancho like a youth player since his return, trying to build confidence. I agree. Patience was always going to be the way. What do you think Erik Ten Hag said to the squad at half-time? I think Ten Hag, even before the game, would have said, it's the second half I'm looking at. They're still looking at that Bruno thing. You know why they're looking at that? Because they want him sent off because they don't like Bruno. BT have shown the Bruno tackle more times than the handball. Don't tell me there's no agenda there. Can you imagine if Weghorst started scoring? Weghorst! Oh, he's missed it. He was just about to do it, I think. Should he have scored this one? No, it's good defending, but I don't think he's made a good connection on it. No, he's not made a good connection because he's kicked it into the ground. Mark, what players from Betis would you take at United? Says Joel. I've got to be honest, I haven't really analysed them much. I think they're a team, aren't they, with no real cutting edge, but they're a well-organised team. There's nobody's really stood out massively for me. Varane has been an absolute machine today, says Sam. I think defensively we've been very good. I'm no Frank, Mark. Gutted, says Andy Cheetham. I think the big thing for me is that the last couple of games, our pass completion's been down near 70%. Tonight, it's well over 80%. Well, we're going to have to motor here to try and get this this game won. "13 minutes to go." Ganacho's getting ready, says Jon Snow. You must love this time of year. Right, let me, let's see if I'm going to whack the link in the video description for the player ratings. Welcome to the Members Club, Alphonse. As much as we blame Anthony, I've done that one from Casey, thank you. What's your rating on our steady Eddie Casemiro this game, so Mark? And I played the game voice, says Azad. And I love Weghorst, but the man can't score, says Vincent. Mark, should we go for Kane in the summer? Well, we need a striker. Here is Weghorst. He's got a 4v3. Nice ball into Anthony. Please. Keeper's made the save. Oh, we just can't get that killer goal. Could have had a hat-trick tonight, Anthony. McTominay's coming on as well. Good ball by Weghorst. Keeper's, to be fair, keeper's done a good job there. People will hate on Anthony, but I think the keeper's done a good job there. Lovely ball. Here we go. Bruno. Weghorst not quick enough there. He can't. Bruno plays the first time cross and Weghorst can't deal with that. He can't get the speed. Look at this. Quick striker is on that. He's just too slow over the first 5 yards, unfortunately. He'll never have that. He'll never have that. You know, you can't blame him for that. He just won't have that. That's where you need a Martial or an Osman. We can dream. Anyway, we've got a corner here. Bruno's on it. Cross comes in. It's not a bad one. Sancho's got it. Edge of the box. Wan-Bissaka needs to be careful, but does well. Man of the match for me, I think consistently across the 90 minutes, Bruno. Here's Casemiro. Another corner. KC says, we are performing miracles with a team built on defensive experience and class. A forward team built on spirit and heart. Imagine with real backing. Glazers out. Let's get the fourth Qatar in if they can give Eric Ten Hag control, says KC. And speak of young developing wingers, I wonder what Ten Hag would have done with Dan James, says Billy Thomas. Probably sold him. Dude deserves to score, says Astaria, in relation to Weghorst. It's not been his night tonight. Palestri's coming on. McTominay's on. Anthony off. Palestri. I didn't even know Palestri was on the bench. Nice to see him getting a few minutes. Sabitz is injured, Ricky. Can't play. Brian. Good play by Palestri. Does well. McTominay. Yes! Get in! We're through to the quarterfinals and it's Weghorst who gets his goal. What a bit of play by Palestri. Manchester United are into the next round. 4-1. We'll take that. We'll take that. If you fancy going to Sevilla to watch the second leg, take your sun cream and take in the sights because that's going to be a straightforward tie now. United through to the next round and Ten Hag allows himself the first little smile of the night. Palestri, wow, that's magnificent. Instant impact by Palestri. And Manchester United, well, it's over. La Liga, I'm going to say those words. Whoa. The Premier League is considerably better than La Liga. Put Brighton in there, they'd be fighting for the title. Premier League, the best league in the world. Yes, come on. That's magnificent, though, from Manchester United. Instant impact from Palestri. He goes round 3 players to whip that cross in. He's an exciting player. He's an exciting player. What an impact off the bench, says Mr. Nobody. And Ben, finally, Weghorst, Potter scores. Love it. That Palestri bit there is magnificent, by the way, because he's got nowhere to go. He's got nowhere to go. And he finds an angle to go round 3 players. Really, really, really good play by Palestri, that is. And he's got us a very, very important goal there. I'd like to see him getting more game time. I think he's a good player. And the thing I like about Palestri is, I think he's got that Messi, Barcelona, Xavi, Silva, Bernardo Silva thing. He's got that low centre of gravity, which people find very difficult to deal with when they start dribbling. And I'm not saying he's Messi or David Silva or Bernardo Silva. What I'm saying is he's got... I've always seen Palestri as a player that Pep would love. It's just whether we can get the best out of him. And the interesting thing is as well, he's probably not just limited to a right winger. I think he probably could play as a 10. Always loved Palestri. That is something we miss, playing more good options than he has across, as SK. The thing I like about Palestri is he loves to put a cross in. Super happy for Weghorst, says Yannick. Well, it's funny, we were just talking about that, isn't it? And so happy for Voot, says TKH. I'm so happy we're through to the next round because I tell you what, Betis was not a walk in the park. The Premier League has nothing to do with this. Give it a break, says Stanley. Oh, swivel on it, Stanley. Swivel on it. Swivel on it. No, Mark, I'm still hurt. I want 2 or 3 more goals. Zeus, move on, mate. Move on. Stop living in the past. Voot, there it is. 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 That's from PQ. Is it just me, or does this game remind you of the Roma game? Says Slow Sports. No, it doesn't remind me of that. That was brilliant. David Gregg, thanks for 5 memberships. You're a legend. Look at what it means to boot. Teared up, happy for him. Says Suradeep. And Ollie's loving Veghorse passion. Says Dakota. This game helped the boys to build back some confidence. Says Xander. We just got to go game to game, mate. That was disgusting on Sunday, but we go game to game. We've got to win on Sunday. We've got to beat Fulham, go and do the job in the second leg. Our whole starting front four scored, says Ernest. And Mark, I go back to the cup final. Just look how much that meant for Veghorst. Love Plestri, great young talent, says Andy Cheetham. And are we ready to give Wan-Bissaka his credit, Mark? When he came on, the game changed. No, I don't know what this Wan-Bissaka thing is. I always liked Wan-Bissaka when people were writing him off. So I don't know what point scoring you're trying to do. And I'm not having it. I don't think Wan-Bissaka has changed the game at right back. I think he's come on and played well, but I don't think we're winning 4-1 because of Wan-Bissaka. I can't see that. I'm sorry. I think he's played really well, but it's not like bringing Messi on and he's got 4 goals. He's a very, very good player for us, but I don't put this down to one player, and I'm very glad it's not down to one player. I think it's down to a team responding to what happened at the weekend. Palestri's just slipped into him. That looks quite nasty, but completely accidental. Mark, this is the comeback we needed, says Aman. As I said at half time, don't forget that that's still a dodgy handball. Just because we've killed Betis doesn't mean that that's not a dodgy handball. But it's probably worked out better for us because we've had to work hard to get back into the game. Woo, there it is. Woo, there it is. Said, woo, there it is. That's in my head now. Yeah, player ratings are in the video description. Obviously, we'll go through that on the match reaction. Ooh, good cross. I'll tell you what, I think Bruno's been fantastic tonight. There's been a few really good... There's been a few big results. There's been a few big performances tonight from Manchester United, but I think captain extraordinaire. He's been brilliant tonight, Bruno. Casemiro, Varane, Martinez, absolutely fantastic as well. But I think give him his credit. Bruno's been magnificent tonight. And also, let's be fair. You know, it's a pretty good response from Manchester United. This I don't think it's easy to go and beat a team like Betis 4-1. You know, they've not had a man sent off. There's not been they're the ones who had the dodgy referee decision. I mean, technically it should be 4-0. So, you know, give the result the credit it deserves because Betis are a decent side and we've made them. You know, we've absolutely swallowed them up and spat them out. So credit where it's due. Yeah, Varane's been brilliant. Yeah, some really, really good results, really good performances. I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting one. As to what changes he'll make against Southampton, because we need to beat Southampton on Sunday afternoon. Would you risk playing Maguire and Lindelof? Credit to the squad for showing good character to come back and win this game after the defeat at Anfield to Stephen. Bruno playing deeper has made a world of difference to our performance as Hussein. That was from Stephen Rossi as well. Ethan, thank you very much. Look, I said it before the game. I'll say it again now. That's one result. Like, that doesn't, the players know it. Ten Hag knows it. He'll probably say it after the game. That doesn't put right losing to Liverpool. No, that takes a lot more than that. To put right the Liverpool result, they've got to go and win another trophy. They've got to get top 4. So one result doesn't change that. But what it does do is it just restores a little bit of belief back in this team and the manager, which didn't go anyway. It was disappointment, but it just puts us back on track. And the most important thing for me is, remember what Ten Hag said. He said, you're on your last warning. So we should never see a result like that again. That's the challenge. Sorry, I've got to call this out. Why are they labelling it the dark days of the Ranić era? The commentary bias is maddening. Very pleased. The finishing was decent, but we came together. Sumi, I don't know why they call it the Ranić era, because the Ranić, I've said this before. Why does I mean, it really winds me up that the rhetoric and bullshit that gets put out in our mainstream media in this country. You can accuse a captain of asking to come off and then just ignore an apology. I mean, that's just been publicly, oh, he's a disgrace, he wants to come off, and then no apology. That's a disgrace. And then the dark days of the Ranić era. He was an interim manager for 6 months who got no backing. That wasn't an era. That was a plaster. The era was the Solskjaer era, but they won't refer to it as the dark days of the Solskjaer era because he's a nice bloke. It's disgusting. Some of the angle that they go down is a bloody disgrace. And, when are they going to apologise to Bruno? Because they've spent 10 times showing the thing where they should have got a red card. They've shown constantly his bad behaviour against Liverpool before the game. The bias is set. Say hi to my girlfriend for Fatima. We listen to you together, says Chris. Hello, hello, hello. But you're spot on, Sumi, to call it out. Dark days of Ranić. It's just xenophobia. Call it for what it is. It's always the same. Anything foreign, let's go in on it. Anthony, Bruno, Ranić. They probably don't realise that Solskjaer was actually Norwegian. I love Palestri, top player. Well, not top player yet, but got lots of potential. I'd like to see more of him. Don't forget to do your player ratings, by the way. For me, Bruno's man of the match, but I still think it's going to be very interesting. I mean, look, technically, did Anthony have a good game? Scored a great goal. Really pleased for him. Still a lot of improvement. Is there any way back for Betis? Well, look, anything can happen, but they can't score goals. I mean, I've got to try and stop myself from laughing here. Let me just try and stop myself from laughing because it's disrespectful, but can I just show you this? 2 shots on target. One of them was cheating. I don't think we need to worry in the second leg. They can't score. Glad we got the win tonight, says Logan. Here's Palestri again. Look at this. I like the way Palestri likes to put a cross in. I love it. Ollie turns you grey, Mark, says Joshua. It's blonde highlights. That's the final whistle. Manchester United 4-1. Look, it doesn't put right the 7-0, but tonight we were playing in a different game, and we've, it's a 2-legged game, and we've basically put ourselves through. You can't argue with that. Absolutely fantastic. We'll do the player ratings and we'll go through what's been a very interesting night for Manchester United. Don't forget, just because we've won, still call out the cheating, still a bloody handball. Imagine if we'd drawn 1-1, it's still a joke. Anyway, I'll see you over on the match reaction in a minute.